Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto brother of Mito Uzumaki part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Hatake Kakashi, the Jounin sensei of Team 7, was leading his team consisting of Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura and Uzumaki Tayuya. Uchiha Sasuke was the last Uchiha in the village and had been rewarded with the title of Rookie of the Year when he graduated. Sasuke was in Kakashi's team for many reasons, but it was mainly due to him being an Uchiha. The belief was that in the future, Kakashi would be the best one to teach him how to activate his Sharingan, since he was the only one left in Konoha with any experience of how. This was because he had one himself. Kakashi's next student, Haruno Sakura, was also someone that had been rewarded with a flattering title, which was Kunoichi of the Year, 1, the top female of all the graduates. She was a ninja that not only had considerable chakra control, she had also achieved top scores in all the written tests. If she were to apply herself in all endeavors, she would certainly be looking at a great future. Unfortunately, she was distracted. She had a tendency to focus an unhealthy amount of time on seeking a romantic relationship with Sasuke, more so than working on improving herself as a ninja. His last student was someone that Kakashi would have expected to be someone else. But with the way things had turned out, he was stuck with Konoha's newest Jinchuriki, 2. Uzumaki Tayuya was a red-haired girl like most Uzumakis. By all accounts, she was hot-tempered and possessed a mouth that peppered almost every sentence with profanity. Tayuya was dead last of all the graduates, and the only reason she graduated was because she had managed to defeat Mizuki, a traitor who had tricked her into stealing the Forbidden Scrolls. Tayuya had been brought to Konoha almost 2.5 years ago, and had been made the Jinchuriki of the Sanbai, the three-tailed turtle. That all happened half a year after Konoha's other Jinchuriki had disappeared from Konoha. Uzumaki Naruto, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, had been gone from Konoha for 3 years and no one was aware of his whereabouts. Most of them thought he was dead. Uzumaki Tayuya and Uzumaki Naruto were not from the same family, but they were from the same clan, and that is why they share the name. Tayuya was treated in the same way Naruto had been as soon as it was known that she was also a Jinchuriki. Team 7 was currently leaving Konoha to go on their first C-ranked mission, which was to guard Tazuna, the bridge builder from Wave Country. It was 3 years ago that Uzumaki Naruto had been kidnapped by 2 Chunin-level ninja that had been paid to get him out of the village by someone in the civilian council. The councilman did not care if they killed him or not. He just wanted him gone. One of the 2 ninjas hated Naruto's guts and had no problem with killing him. The other one, however, was hating himself for what he was doing, but he was in desperate need of money. The ninja who hated Naruto's guts was none other than Mizuki, the ninja that Tayuya had dealt with almost 3 years later. The other Chunin was also an academy teacher by the name of Genji. Mizuki and Genji had dropped Naruto at a large tree at the border of Fire Country, and Mizuki had said that they should just end his life right there. Genji, feeling overwhelming shame for his actions, told Mizuki that there was no way in hell he was going to let him do that. He instead suggested a different course of action. Genji left Naruto there with a backpack filled with a few water skins and some energy bars. The 2 Chunins left soon after that, and that was when Naruto was found by a very old man that would train Naruto for a year before he passed away of old age. The old man's name? Itama Senju. Itama's last words to Naruto was to spread the name of Senju in the world once again. And that was what Naruto intended to do and had already done, as he had made quite a name for himself the 2 years after Itama had died. Naruto had made a name for himself as a bounty hunter, who hunted missing ninjas. Naruto himself was labeled a B-rank ninja going by the name Senju. The reason for the name came from captured ninjas who reported that when they had asked for their captor's name, he had answered them Senju in a low whisper and a grinning smile. The bounties who were killed had very little to report. It would seem that Naruto's tendencies towards bifurcation or decapitation on resisting bounties leaves very little wiggle room for relaying information to others. Naruto's ninjutsu skills were not overly impressive. Currently he was only adept in the 3 academy jutsus, as well as Shunshin, Kage Bunshin and lastly Shuriken/Kunai Kage Bunshin. His knowledge in genjutsu was also lacking, dispelling it was the limit of his abilities in this area. He had some insight into Fuinjutsu and was a decent practitioner of taijutsu. But what Naruto excelled in was his swordsmanship, kenjutsu. Naruto was also a ninja that relied heavily on speed and combined his speed with his kenjutsu skills. Naruto was now 13 years old. He had been 10 years old when he was kidnapped from his village and left to die. Even though he lived 10 years in Konoha, the only thing he remembered from that place was the old man, Hokage, and the ramen stand, Ichiraku Ramen. He did not remember any of his old classmates, or any other person from Konoha. Naruto was not stupid by any means, but he was forgetful. Further, one peculiar trait of his was that he had a particularly hard time seeing the difference between a boy and a girl. He had also picked up some other bad habits, especially for a 13-year-old. Worst among them was his immense love of alcohol, especially sake. Naruto currently wore dark blue pants with a dark blue t-shirt. His hair was golden blonde cut short into a messy hairstyles with visible spikes sticking out everywhere. 3 whiskers marked each of his cheeks. Not much had changed in his appearance other than his recent growth in height. Instead of being one of the shortest in height, he was now relatively tall for his age, though still shorter than the tallest one of the rookie 9 Aburame Shino. Still, he was about as tall as the second tallest, Nara Shikamaru. Naruto was currently in Wave Country looking for his next bounty, one Momochi Zabuza. His target was an A-ranked missing nin. Zabuza would probably not be an easy bounty to acquire, but Naruto was in serious need of money as he had wasted all his cash on sake and ramen. Admittedly, it was worth it. Just as Naruto thought of all the sake and ramen he could buy once he had cashed in his new target, he had found the target. The target was not alone, however, as it seemed he was currently battling a squad from Konoha. Naruto saw 3 younger individuals that he thought were boys roughly his age. They were guarding an older-looking man dressed in Konoha-styled ninja gear. What a bunch of freaks, those boys have no style, Naruto thought to himself. He did not appreciate the tight-fitting clothes the 2 long-haired skinny boys wore, nor the duck-ass hairstyle of the not-so-ridiculously clothed boy. He quickly shook off his distaste of the 3 retards and instead glared at who must be their Jounin sensei as he noticed the Sharingan in his right eye. An Uchiha, Naruto thought angrily as he sat hidden in a tree watching over the battle. What Naruto did not know was that his anger was causing some of the Kyuubi's chakra to leak from the seal, something that any Jounin ninja would be able to sense. Down on the battlefield, Kakashi had just tried to calm his students by shouting, "Relax. I will not let any of my comrades die," when suddenly he noticed a sizable chakra source emanating from the surrounding forest. This malicious chakra felt familiar to him, however, as he had sensed it 13 years ago during the Kyuubi's attack. Zabuza had also sensed the peculiar chakra and asked, "More of your runts, Kakashi?" Before Kakashi could answer, both Zabuza and Kakashi had jumped back to dodge a sudden incoming attack. The attacker had used Shunshin to appear right behind Kakashi, and his sword would have pierced Kakashi's heart if he had not moved. "Who are you?" Zabuza asked, since it was obvious he was not on Kakashi's side after all. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Zabuza and said, "You're just a bounty, shut your mouth." Zabuza, exasperated, glared at him. "What did you say?" Naruto ignored Zabuza for the moment and focused on Kakashi, who was standing there with his jaw dropped as he saw Naruto. "Prepare to die, Uchiha," Naruto said as he once again used Shunshin to quickly appear next to Kakashi, and then drew his sword and attempted to slice Kakashi in half by performing the Kenjutsu technique, Sure Sun Sun, Draw and Res Heath technique, Lion Song. Something was certainly cut in half, but it was not Kakashi. The copy ninja had used the replacement technique to replace himself with wooden logs. Kyuso. 3. Naruto swore and turned around to look at Kakashi, who was now standing in front of his students protectively. "You are one interesting brat," Zabuza asserted with a deep-sounding cackle. All of the Konoha ninjas could now see Naruto without a problem, and all of them recognized him somewhat, with the exception of Tayuya. Sasuke knew he had seen this guy somewhere, but he could not remember where. Sakura remembered him also, how could she not? This was the guy that was dead last in the academy, and had a huge crush on her. He had, to Sakura's great annoyance, done everything to let everyone know about it. "I told you to shut your mouth," Bounty Naruto snapped at Zabuza. "So you are after my bounty? Get lost, kid, you are out of your league here," Zabuza retorted. "Out of my league?" Naruto asked with obvious disdain. With a laugh he answered, "We will see about that later." He then focused on Kakashi again. "For now I will deal with the Uchiha, then I will deal with you, Bounty." Kakashi got out of his shock and said, "What is your name, stranger?" Naruto grinned. "Senju," he answered in a low voice that caused both Zabuza's and Kakashi's eyes to widen as they knew about the rumors of the bounty hunter with that name. "No," Kakashi said, "your real name?" Naruto ignored him and bit his thumb, chanting Kuchios no Jutsu, summoning technique. The technique summoned a large purple toad. Naruto jumped up on its back. "Naruto boy?" the toad asked while looking around trying to find him. The toad had not noticed him jumping up on his back. "Damn it! Don't call me that!" Naruto yelled and stomped on the toad's back. "Sorry for my clumsiness," the toad said, embarrassed, and held up a wooden barrel that was almost as big as Naruto himself. "I have brought a barrel of sake that we can share." "Stop it, Gamekin!" Naruto yelled with a red face. "You are embarrassing me in front of my bounty and the Uchiha." "Forgive me," Gamekin said as he noticed that there were others around. Zabuza was getting tired of being ignored and said, Bounty Hunter Senju and Sharingan no Kakashi, I will deal with you both at a later time, and disappeared with a shunshin. Gamma, can you let my bounty get away? Naruto cried anime tears and stomped on the toad's back again. Gamaken looked ashamed of himself. Forgive me for my clumsiness. Don't mind. Just help me kill that Uchiha over there, Naruto said and pointed at Kakashi. That is Hatake Kakashi. He's not an Uchiha, Gamaken said. You know him? Naruto asked. Yes, somewhat. I might be wrong though, Gamaken said and squinted his toad eyes. No, that is him. Explain, Naruto demanded with his eyebrow twitching. I have fought alongside him before. He is a student of our former summoner, your old man, Gamaken said before he face-palmed. I shouldn't have said that. Forgive me for my clumsiness. He's a student of my useless old man? Naruto asked. Gamaken whistled a bit and said, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I am leaving. Take this barrel, it is a gift from Boss Bunta. And disappeared in a puff of smoke. Team 7 during all that had their own conversation. Who is that? I recognize him somewhat, but I am not sure if it is who I think it is, Sakura said. The freak seems to have a problem with you, fuckface, Tayuya said to Sasuke. HN. He is no match for an Uchiha, Sasuke answered. Kakashi in the meantime was sweat dropping as he saw Naruto and the toad and their antics. One moment he is attacking me and the next he is arguing with a toad summon who only Jiraiya should be able to summon. As the toad disappeared, Kakashi figured it was safe to speak with Naruto. You are Uzumaki Naruto, correct? Tayuya's eyes widened as she heard that name. Was this another Uzumaki? The clan was supposed to be extinct. HM? Naruto looked at Kakashi. What is it to you? Could you answer the question? Kakashi asked with a sigh. Only if you answer my question first, Naruto answered. Okay, ask away. Naruto walked up to them and started pointing at Kakashi's team. Explain to me why your team is full of misfits. Hey! Sakura yelled. Fucker! Tayuya glared at him. HN, loser. Kakashi giggled since there was someone else that saw ways the same thing he did. Then he asked, what do you mean by that? See, these boys are all weird and unmanly and have long hair, Naruto started as he pointed at them, and that guy has a duck ass for a haircut. By now everyone in Team 7 was glaring at him and readying themselves to attack him with the exception of Kakashi, who was enjoying every second. Kakashi nodded. You are correct, however 2 of them are girls, not boys. Naruto's jaw dropped. Girls? You mean they are women? Yes. Naruto snorted and said ugly and walked away. I have seen women and they all have those big testicles hanging out of their chests. Your women seems to lack these. I will beat you to a pulp, you fucker! Tayuya yelled and charged Naruto. Kuchios no Jutsu. Naruto yelled and summoned another large toad. This toad was not as big as Gamaken but still big enough for Naruto to stand on. The toad used its tongue to trip Tayuya, causing her to fall down on the ground. Naruto jumped off the toad and walked over to Tayuya and started removing his pants and said, where are my manners? I have been taught to treat women as flowers. Allow me to water you. As soon as Naruto finished that sentence, Kakashi had grabbed him and most likely saved his life. Hey, what's the deal, you fake Uchiha? You and me need to have a little talk, Kakashi said with a glare. What talk? The talk. So due to Kakashi having to explain some things to Naruto, such as the difference between a boy and a girl and how to properly treat a lady, Team 7's travel had been delayed for another hour. If it turns out you have lied to me, Hotken Kakanishi, I will kill you, Naruto said after he had finished listening to the nonsense Kakashi had told him. I assure everything I have told you is the truth, Kakashi said with an eye smile. Say, Naruto, would you like to join us for this mission? There is a big chance Zabuza would turn up once again. Naruto's eyes turned into $signs. The bounty. Of course I will join you. Great. Also my name is Kakashi, not Kakanishi, Kakashi said as they walked back to the others who seemed to be close to falling asleep. Whatever you say, Kakakin. Are you messing with me? Speak sense. The others' sweat dropped as they had overheard the last part of their conversation. Seeing as Naruto had still not left, Sakura decided to ask, what is he still doing here? While she pointed at Naruto. He is going to help us out on this mission, and after that he might go with us back to Konoha, Kakashi said with his famous eye smile. I ain't going to Konoha, fake Uchiha, Naruto said. If you do a good job on this mission and then accompany us back to Konoha, I will treat you to as much ramen as you want at Ichiraku Ramen, Kakashi whispered to Naruto, and when he heard that he started drooling and said, "Fine, I will go with you to the ramen." Kakashi nodded good while thinking, seems like Naruto haven't changed that much after all. Anyway, I think introductions are in order. I am Hataki Kakashi, Jounin Sensei of Team 7. He then pointed at Tazuna. This is Tazuna, our client. Please introduce yourself, my cute little Genins. Sasuke glared at Kakashi Ayamachi. He was interrupted by Kakashi putting a hand in front of his mouth as he was saying his name is Hiruno Sasuke. He then whispered to Sasuke in a way to try to calm him down since Sasuke did not like the name Kakashi had chosen for him. Just go with it for now. If he finds out you're an Uchiha, he will try to kill you. Sasuke snorted as if he could. Kakashi sighed and nudged Sakura, who smiled weakly. I am Hiruno Sakura. Tayuya was the last one, and she yelled, I am Uzumaki Tayuya. Remember it, you fucker. Naruto jumped back and cleared his ear and hoped he had not gone deaf after that yell. He then whispered, Senju. Kakashi sighed, your real name? Senju. Come on. Senju. His name is Uzumaki Naruto, a former Konoha citizen, and like I said earlier, he will accompany us for the rest of this mission, Kakashi said as he figured Naruto would not give in. Alright team, let us head out. Lead the way, Tazuna-san. Finally Tazuna said, and the group started walking towards Tazuna's home. As soon as they started walking, Kakashi gave Naruto a small red book titled Ika Ika Paradise, Volume 1, and told him to read it. 3 hours later. The group had finally arrived at Tazuna's home. While walking there for the last 3 hours, Team 7 had talked among themselves while staring at Kakashi and Naruto with disgust due to the sounds and expressions they were making. This was because of Kakashi's blushing and giggling caused by the book he was reading and the HM sounds coming from Naruto. Well, this is it, Tazuna said as he opened the door. Tsunami, Inari, I'm back. Tazuna shouted. Soon after that, a kid ran up to Tazuna and hugged him while a woman walked towards them smiling. The woman was in her 20s and had long dark blue hair. Tazuna introduced his family to Team 7 while Naruto just stood there staring at Tsunami for a while before he walked up to her and grabbed her hand. I see you are the definition of beauty, Naruto said, and kissed the top of her hand. Oh, Might Swami said and giggled, aren't you sweet? After Naruto had unknowingly flirted a bit with Tsunami, the group had been let into the house and were now eating in Tazuna's kitchen. Tsunami had prepared dinner that everyone could enjoy as soon as they arrived. After eating, Naruto had noticed the stares everyone were giving him, especially Tayuya, that had been glaring at him ever since the whole watering ordeal. What do you want? Naruto asked as he was kind of tired of her glaring. Your name is Uzumaki Naruto, right? Why the fuck have I been told there are no other Uzumaki when you are a former Konoha citizen? Tayuya asked. Senju, Naruto whispered and then stood up and said, I need to take piss, and walked towards the bathroom. As soon as Naruto left the kitchen, they heard someone knocking on the door from outside. Kakashi went and opened the door and was greeted by a small toad that gave him a small piece of paper before disappearing in a puff of smoke. On the paper it said, the old geezer is catching up, but you are still a few days ahead of him. Kakashi gave the paper to Naruto as soon as he finished up in the bathroom, and when he saw it he told them, well, you should have noticed at least, Katashi. That you are a clone? Kakashi asked in a bored tone. Yeah, I will dispel soon, Naruto said as he walked towards the door and opened it. He turned around and said, I will come back in a week. If you guys are still around, I will contact you somehow. Kakashi sighed and asked, why in a week? Because there is someone who is tracking me and has been doing so for over a year. He looked depressed as he continued, he is someone the old toad told me to call Ero-sen, and Naruto's clone was about to dispel, but before it did he said, I will never forgive him, and disappeared in a puff of smoke. A few minutes after Naruto was gone, Tayuya said what everyone wanted to ask, what the fuck is going on? How does that fucker know Ero-sen? Ma. Naruto and an old friend is just having some problems. It will be fine, don't worry about it, Kakashi said, and I smiled. He said Ero-sen, right? Tayuya yelled, that is what I called that old pervert who brought me to Konoha 3 years ago. What, who? Sakura asked. Kakashi I smiled and said, yeah, that's him, probably. How does the freak know Ero-sen? Tayuya asked with a yell. Well, Kakashi began saying as he had a pretty good idea to what was going on. They are just having some family problems. What? Tayuya yelled. Hey, who is Ero-sen? Sakura asked. Ahaha. Do you know who Jiraiya of the Sannin is? Kakashi asked. Of course, he is the teammate of Tsunade-sama and Orochimaru the traitor, Sakura answered like a good bookworm. Kakashi I smiled once again and said, yeah, well, they are family? Kind of. With Naruto. Ero-sen, I will fucking kill you for what you did someday. Naruto thought as he ran at top speed, trying to get as far away from wave country as possible using chakra to boost his speed. He remembered his first meeting with Jiraiya as he ran. Flashback. In a small village where travelers would often stop by to either enjoy the hot springs or the casinos was where Naruto had ended up and decided to rest. He was going to try out one of those hot springs when he saw an old man with long white hair sitting in a tree above one of the springs. The old man was giggling and blushing and writing down stuff in a small notebook. This had Naruto curious, so he climbed the tree and sat down next to the old man. The first thing Naruto saw was two grown-up men that was currently taking a bath in the hot springs. He quickly noticed that these men were odd. They both had two big testicles hanging out of their chests and pretty faces. Something like this was not normal, and he was curious to figure out what was wrong with them. The old man finally spoke to him. "What do you want, brat? Get lost." Naruto ignored that and instead pointed at the two women and asked, "What are those things?" "Huh," Jiraiya said, staring at the boy before looking back at the women. "Those are the finest titties in the elemental nations." Jiraiya then laughed in the way of the pervert. "If Tsuhime found out about this, she would kill me." Tsuhime. Titties? Naruto asked as he wrote it down, since he planned to go over all the details later and figure this out. It seemed like that perverted laugh of Jiraiya's had gotten the attention of the two women. Both of them had now jumped out of the springs and stood under the tree looking up at Naruto, only wearing white towels. Jiraiya, of course, had quickly disappeared as soon as he noticed any movement within the springs. The next thing to happen was Naruto getting beaten up for 5 minutes by the old man with the big testicles and long blonde hair. "Tsunade-sama, I think that's enough," Shizen said, feeling bad for the kid. Tsunade growled, "If I don't do this, he will never learn. Perverts never do." "Man, stop it, please," Naruto pleaded. Tsunade gawked at him. "Man, did you call me man?" While Shizen held a hand in front of her mouth in amusement. Naruto stood up and nodded. "Yeah, what about it? Also, what is with those testicles hanging out of your chest? I have never seen those." After Naruto noticed this, he quickly had to dodge a superhuman punch by using his speed to quickly jump into the tree again. "I am a woman, you retarded brat!" Tsunade yelled as Naruto disappeared in a shunshin. "I see," Naruto thought and wrote down what he just found out. Women are pretty and have testicles hanging out of their chests. They are also angry for no reason and does not appreciate being asked questions regarding their testicles. Naruto had managed to escape Tsuhime's wrath, but he did not get away without injuries. Her punches hurt like hell and he had bruises all over his body. He decided to get revenge on the one responsible for this, the old man that was in the tree earlier. He did that by stealing a scroll from him while he slept. The scroll turned out to be the Toad Summoning Contract scroll, which Naruto later signed. Ever since that night, Jiraiya has chased him all over the elemental nations. Jiraiya had successfully captured him quite a few times, but every time he did, Naruto had just disappeared the same night. Every time they met, they would fight at first and end with either Naruto escaping or Jiraiya capturing him and Naruto escaping later the same night. And that is how Naruto became a Toad Summoner. End flashback. A week had now passed since Naruto's clone had left Team 7. During the week, Kakashi had trained his students in a way to prepare them for the upcoming fight with Zabuza. His students had learned the tree walking technique, a basic chakra control exercise. He had also trained his students one-on-one with a shadow clone. Meanwhile, the other two students and himself would be guarding Tazuna while he worked on the bridge. Kakashi had taught Sasuke some fire jutsus and sparred with him. He enjoyed sparring with Sasuke, especially during the week, because of him being so upset after Kakashi had told Naruto that Sasuke's name was Harino's Sasuke. It hurt his pride as an Uchiha a lot. Sakura had been taught a few basic genjutsus and they had also sparred, even if it didn't last very long when they did. Kakashi knew that Sakura had a lot of potential if she just applied herself instead of focusing on boys and love. Taiyuya and Kakashi had mostly sparred in a way to improve her taijutsu, since that was her weakest point. Kakashi and Taiyuya had also gone over a few tactics she would use in a fight. Kakashi was impressed by Taiyuya's mind, as some of them were really clever and could catch even Chunin-level ninja off guard. Well, he was not too surprised since she had defeated a Chunin already, Mizuki. But that was what happened during the past week. Right now Kakashi was busy fighting Zabuza on the big bridge Tazuna and his employees had built. Taiyuya and Sasuke was stuck inside an ice dome created by Zabuza's apprentice, Haku. Meanwhile, Naruto was rescuing Tsunami and Inari from two samurai-looking men that worked for Gato. They looked like maybe they could use a sword and give him a bit of a challenge, but Naruto was very disappointed after the battle since both of them had lost within seconds. "Thanks," Inari said before looking at Naruto. "Ah," he said and pointed at him. "You are that weird guy from 1 week ago." Naruto nodded. "Yes, I had to make sure my girlfriend was alright after all." "Girlfriend?" Inari asked. Yeah, Naruto said as he lifted the unconscious woman and carried her bridal style. Wait, does that mean that you are my new Otosan, Dad? Inari asked with wide eyes. Naruto nodded that is so, and they made their way into the house. But you don't look much older than the Wani-chans and Oni-chan that is protecting my grandpa, Inari said. Naruto said in a serious voice, age doesn't matter. I learned that this week. And thought back on his meeting with a few old friends from Konoha. Flashback 4 days ago. In a small village in Fire Country, Asuma and his students were going to deliver an item to a client. Asuma and his students that made up Team 10 were doing their first C-ranked mission. Why do we have to stay here for another day? Troublesome, Shikamaru whined. The client will arrive tomorrow. We will just rent some rooms for the night and stay here, Asuma said. Shikamaru, you dork! Ino yelled. Stop your yelling, troublesome woman. You are the reason why we had to do this troublesome mission in the first place, Shikamaru said and sighed and daydreamed of him laying somewhere looking up into the clouds. Stop fighting, you two, we should try to get along, Chuji said, but he immediately regretted it when Ino glared at him. Shut up, Chuji. That's the scene Naruto saw when he got closer to them as he walked towards them on the main road of the village. Those two. Could it be? Naruto thought as he stopped before them and said, Yo Shikataru, Chaji. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow, huh? Then he saw someone that he had not seen in 3 years and most thought to be dead. Naruto, is that you? Shikamaru asked in a bored tone. Naruto! Chuji shouted with tears in his eyes and hugged Naruto. Naruto, you're alive. Naruto's eyes twitched as he forced Chuji off of him. Stop that, Chaja. We are all men here. It's Shikamaru and Chuji. Troublesome blonde. Naruto nodded. That's right. Then he asked, who is the beard and that? Naruto narrowed his eyes when he saw Ino. Come on, I can figure this out. He walked closer and inspected her. This must be a. What are you staring at, you freak? Ino yelled and punched him in the face. Naruto quickly shook it off and went back to Shikamaru. Who is the beard man and that girl? Oh, that's Asuma-sensei, Shikamaru said while lazily lifting his hand towards Asuma's direction, then doing the same at Ino's, and that's Ino. You two have met before, you know. Kasuma and Ino, was it? Naruto asked with a grin. I see. And walked up to Ino and stuck his face into hers once again. My name is Namikaze Naruto, nice to meet ya. Namikaze? Ino asked as she tried to remember where she had heard that name before. Naruto nodded. Yeah, ever heard of Namikaze Minato? He's my dad. The yandame! Ino yelled. No way. It seems to be working, Naruto thought as he watched Ino go from being violent to. Well, he had no idea how to describe her now. During that, Asuma had some interesting thoughts as he heard Naruto's name. Namikaze? No way, his name was Uzumaki. Naruto, right? Could he be? He narrowed his eyes at Naruto. Damn, that Minato, did he really get together with Kushinaheim? I had such a big crush on her when I was younger. Damn him. If this is really Minato and Kushina's kid, then I must hide Kurenai-heim. Stay away from my Heim. Asuma yelled at Naruto, who backed away. That's creepy, Sensei, Ino said with fear. Oh, sorry, old man, Naruto said, grinning. He then took out his notebook and read something and said, it was not my intention to ruining your game. He then jumped up into a tree. I must train. Farewell, old friends, and ran off into the forest surrounding the village. He found a nice open area that was close to the village where he could train at. Naruto had been working on a new move for some months now. He drew his sword and swung it hard into the air. Sanjiroku Pound Ho. The move was a long-range slash attack that cut everything in its way. Naruto cut down part of the forest with his attack, but he was still not happy with the result. One more time. Sanjiroku Pound Ho. After 5 hours of practicing his new move, he would move on to sparring. Kuchios no Jutsu. Naruto summoned a large toad. This toad was one of the strongest toads of Mount Myaboku. The toad was green/teal and wore 2 large katanas on his back. What do you want now, fool? Gamahiro asked. Naruto chuckled. Well, I heard that in some places they eat frogs. I would like to try it myself and make some frog soup. Gamahiro drew his swords. Insolent fool. I am a toad. I won't go easy on you this time. Bring it on. Naruto yelled and charged the frog. They fought for over 3 hours, and nearby in the forest someone was watching them. Gamahiro disappeared in a puff of smoke after Naruto had collapsed on the ground, most likely unconscious. Ino, who had been the one that had watched the spar, ran over to where Naruto was laying and sat down next to him. She sweat dropped as she noticed that he was still grinning even when he was unconscious. He's cute and no doubt very strong, she thought with a blush. Ino then carried Naruto back to the village and brought him to her room that they had rented. She couldn't just leave him out there in the forest after all. As she put him on a mattress on the floor next to her, she thought, is this really that idiot that had a crush on Forehead Girl? Tsu. Naruto mumbled and then giggled. Huh. Ino thought and leaned down to listen. Tsuhime's tits, he giggled again before he turned around and started snoring. A red-faced Ino went to her bed and thought he is still an idiot, before she fell asleep as well. When Naruto woke up the next morning, the first thing he saw was Ino sleeping next to him on the mattress and hugging him. How did this happen? I don't remember going to sleep here. A light bulb lit above Naruto's head. I see this one of those blackout one-night stands. He slowly got out of Ino's grip and got out of the room and ran out of the village thinking, I have 2 girlfriends now. He also regretted leaving Ino like that, but he had a good reason. I will come back someday, Ino, but I can't face your boyfriend Asuma with my current skill. End flashback. When Naruto arrived at the bridge, there was not much for him to help with. Kakashi had already killed of Haku with his Chidori, and Zabuza had changed targets from Tazuna to Gato. That was something Naruto could not accept. So when Zabuza charged Gato and his underlings, Naruto got to Gato first and cut his body in half. Senju, Naruto said with a grin, while Gato's underlings looked at him as if he was a demon before running away in panic. Bounty Hunter Senju, that was my kill, Zabuza said angrily. Naruto shook his head. My woman and her child has been abused by this dwarf, therefore this is rightfully my kill. Your woman? Zabuza asked. You're just a brat, Zabuza managed to say before he fell down on the ground, as he could no longer stand due to amount of blood he had lost after Gato's underlings had pierced him with various weapons that are still stuck to his body. Naruto walked over to him and Zabuza whispered, do me a favor, will you? Alright, Naruto without questioning what and swung his word towards Zabuza, who whispered thanks before the sword connected and Zabuza died. A moment after that, Inari and a lot of the village people arrived with gardening tools or whatever tool they could use as a weapon to help out in the battle. What they saw was Gato being dead, and that was enough for them to start celebrating. The only 3 people that had seen Gato and Zabuza die was Tazuna, Kakashi and Tayuya, due to Sakura running over to where Sasuke was laying unconscious. Why the fuck did you do that? Tayuya asked as she glared at Naruto. Do what? Naruto asked. Kill them? Like they were fucking bugs, Tayuya yelled. Gato had to die. Zabuza asked me to kill him, Naruto answered in a calm tone. Why are you so upset about this anyway? You are a ninja, right? Fuck you. You did not have to kill them. Ma, Tayuya, calm down, Kakashi said in a serious tone as he walked over to her and put a hand on her shoulder. Naruto did nothing wrong. Tayuya kept yelling about how Naruto did not have to kill them, which led to Kakashi having to explain that this was what ninjas had to do and the hardships of being a ninja. Tayuya just shouted about how she would change things once she became Hokage while Naruto had left the scene. Something about Tayuya bothered him. It might had something to do with a dream he had recently. Naruto walked slowly towards Inari and the others when Tayuya yelled, where the fuck are you going? To see my girlfriend, Naruto answered. Tayuya glared at him while Kakashi asked, you have a girlfriend? Naruto shook his head. I have 2. Kakashi ran up to Naruto and hugged him. You are the student I always wanted. Naruto stared up into Kakashi's eyes. Katashi? Things got weird to the onlookers as they were now standing at a beach and then sun was going down. Naruto! Kakashi hugged him with tears falling from his eyes. Haramaki? Naruto! Takashi? Kai! Both Sakura and Tayuya said at the same time, trying to break the disgusting genjutsu. Naruto was confused himself as to what was happening. Why was Kakashi this happy with him having 2 girlfriends? He unsealed his gigantic sake barrel that he had received from Gamaken last week and stuck his head into it, and chugged half of its contents. A funny sight for the others, as Naruto's legs was the only thing sticking out of the barrel. It looked as if he was trying to drown himself. Naruto got out of the barrel and burped that hit the spot. How is that possible? Kakashi thought as he saw Naruto drink half of the barrel's contents within a few seconds in that position. So anyway, fake Uchiha, Naruto started as he wobbled around. I have a problem with you. Oh really? What problem? Kakashi asked. Naruto grabbed an Ika book from his pocket and said, this book has been good to me, the information I have gotten from it has been correct so far. However, he now grabbed his sword and pointed it at Kakashi. The author of this book is no other than Ero Sennin. You tricked me, deceived me, and you cannot be trusted. That is not the only thing they are lying about. Naruto heard a deep cold inside his head. Thought we weren't talking, Naruto answered inwardly. We aren't. But know that they are keeping 2 secrets from you. You cannot trust them, Kurama said. Secrets, trust? And that is coming from you. I had no intention of deceiving you, Naruto, Kakashi said. No matter, Naruto said with his eyes closed, you shall die anyway. Naruto wobbled towards Kakashi swinging his sword. I assure you that I wasn't trying to trick you, Kakashi said. No excuses, just die, Naruto said, and Kakashi sighed as he prepared for another fight. Just as Naruto got close enough to try and hit Kakashi with his sword, he saw a tall man with long hair sneak up behind Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened for a second before he fell down on the ground unconscious as Jiraiya had hit him in the back of the head. Jiraiya-sama? Kakashi asked, surprised to see him here while Taiya pointed at him with her eyes twitching. Arrow Sennin? Yeah, it's me, the great Jiraiya. Get over it, Jiraiya said as threw Naruto over his shoulder. Where are you guys staying? This little bastard needs to rest, Jiraiya said, talking about Naruto. 10 hours later, Tazuna's house. Naruto woke up and the first thing he felt was pain. He had the worst headache, which means he must have partied hard last night. Considering there was a woman next to him in the bed that hugged him in her sleep, Naruto was convinced he had done something right last night. Tsunami had allowed Naruto to stay in her bed to look after him. She had not planned of falling asleep herself on the bed next to him. The hugging she did unconsciously in her sleep. When Naruto was about to sit up in the bed, Tsunami woke up and mumbled, Naruto-kun? And when she opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was some fat, ugly creature sitting at the door staring at them. Eep! Tsunami screeched and hid under the cover. Naruto noticed the creature as well. It was a small toad, but it was very fat and ugly with lots of scars and long black hair. Frog? Naruto said as he stood up and walked over to the toad. Ribbit, the toad answered. Naruto scowled at the toad. Are you mocking me? Ribbit, the toad answered again, but this time Naruto was sure he saw the toad nodding. Tsunami, Naruto said as he turned around to look at her. Yes, she answered, no longer hiding under the covers. I am leaving, Naruto said with a sad look. I don't know if or when I will be back. What, why? Tsunami whined. The others are staying until the bridge is built. Why aren't you? I am not one of them, Naruto said. I work solo, and also right now I must get away from someone. Who? Him, Naruto said and pointed at the ugly fat toad. That thing? Tsunami asked. What? Naruto looked up at the toad and sweat dropped. Well, that frog is not what it appears to be. Tsunami sighed. I understand, but can you do one thing before you leave? Yes, sure, anything, Naruto answered with a big grin. What? Tsunami asked Naruto, and what happened afterward? Had the toad disappear in a puff of smoke and Jiraiya appeared when the smoke cleared. Tsunami told Naruto, who was blushing, to make sure to visit her soon and to take her out on that date he had promised her. Naruto nodded and said his goodbyes before he jumped out the window and ran for it. Ero-sen, and you will pay for this, Naruto thought. Jiraiya had ruined what could have been a wonderful 1 or 2 weeks with Tsunami. He could have stayed and tried to endure Jiraiya being there, but the risk was too high. Jiraiya always wanted something from him. If it was not the summoning scroll, which Jiraiya had already taken back when Naruto was knocked out, it was something else like money, sake, and that last thing that Naruto kept forgetting. Naruto just wanted the pervert to leave him alone. He was trouble. Naruto did not get far from Tazuna's home before Jiraiya caught up to him. Naruto, wait! Jiraiya yelled. I knew it, Naruto spat. I knew you wouldn't let me leave. What the fuck do you want? Jiraiya grinned. What you did in there? Having an older woman kiss you? Jiraiya had a perverted smile and giggled. You are the perfect choice. You must become my apprentice. I don't see how that. Naruto began but was interrupted when someone jumped down from the roof of Tazuna's house next to Jiraiya. If what you said is true, Jiraiya-sama, then Naruto is going to be my apprentice, Kakashi said, staring down Jiraiya, challenging him. Get lost, brat, Jiraiya said, looking at Kakashi with a disgusted expression. We real men were having a conversation. You are beginning to test my patience, Naruto said, glaring at them and reaching for a scroll to unseal his sword. Kakashi ignored Naruto and instead told Jiraiya, you can have all 3 of my students. But Naruto will become my apprentice. I told you to get lost, Jiraiya said, whipping his hand towards Kakashi as if he was trying to get rid of a fly. Just then 2 women from the town walked past the house minding their own business. They both started running and held their eyes from what they had just seen. Naruto had unsealed his sword and Shunshin next to Jiraiya and Kakashi and cut off their belts, holding their pants up. After that he had ran as fast as he could and using Shunshin after Shunshin to get away from them, leaving them there in only their boxers. Well played, brat, Jiraiya mumbled, reaching for his pants. Kakashi did the same and asked Jiraiya, think we will see him in Konoha? Jiraiya sighed, no way. 3 days later, Konoha. Naruto was standing just outside one of the big gates that you had to go through to enter Konoha. He had figured that he did not need Kakashi to treat him to ramen, he could just buy it himself, and then be on his way again. He walked through the gate, then up to the gatekeepers who seemed to be asleep. Naruto cleared his throat, which managed to wake up one of them. Kamizuki Izumo, who had just woken up, stared at Naruto and thought blue, blonde hair. He then hit his fellow gatekeeper Hagin Kotetsu on the head to wake him up. What the fuck, man? Kotetsu said, yelling, and Izumo, who just held up his finger to silence him, and then gave him a paper. The paper was a report that had gotten a few weeks back. Izumo's eyes widened as he stared at Naruto. Your name and reason for visiting? Kotetsu asked in a bored tone. Senju, Naruto whispered, and this had Kotetsu and Izumo looking at each other. Izumo nodded and disappeared in a shunshin as Naruto continued, I am here to buy some ramen. Very well, go on, Kotetsu said in the same bored tone. Naruto raised an eyebrow and walked into Konoha. Fucking freaks, all of them, he thought, making his way towards Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto did not remember much about Konoha, but for some reason he knew exactly where to go. The closer he got, the more drool was leaving his mouth. Ramen sake, ramen sake, ramen sake. Naruto wore a dumb grin as he sat down at the ramen stand and yelled 10 bowls of miso ramen. I am, who was working alone today, was the one that answered. Geez, how many are you guys? She asked that with her back towards Naruto as she was doing some dishes. Just me, Naruto said, as if it was normal. Why would there be others? They ain't getting my ramen. I am turned around to take a look at her crazy customer, and when she did, she dropped the bowl she was holding. Tears threatened to fall from her eyes as she stammered, and Naruto? Naruto sighed. His name was Senju after all. Yeah, it's been a while. I am Nichin, he smiled at the end. I am had quickly removed the small distance between them, and Naruto was sure she was trying to suffocate him as she hugged him into her chest. Naruto, it's really you. Naruto tried to say something, but only mumbles came out as she was still suffocating him. Having no other choice, Naruto quickly used the replacement technique to replace himself with a person that was hiding up on the roof on a nearby building. The person wore umbu clothes and had a mask that resembled a cat somewhat. Now Awain was instead hugging an umbu woman with purple hair into her chest while crying, Naruto, I thought you were dead. Naruto, who had sat down next to them, answered, I assure you I am not dead. Then he asked, can I please have my ramen now? I am let go of the umbu and finally realized that it was not Naruto she had been hugging, so she jumped back, squealing, Kaya. Pointing a finger, the female umbu. What, why, when? Naruto, what did you do? Naruto grinned, I did nothing, ramen please. The umbu took off her mask and said, well, you might as well make me a bowl as well. Okay, coming right up, I am said, happy that the umbu was not angry with her. Altuf, usually you have dinner before you get intimate, Yugao said with a sweet smile, teasing I am, who got a twitch above her eye, not liking it at all. She vowed she would get Naruto back for this. When Naruto was done eating his 10 bowls, he was about to order 10 more when Yugao stopped him. You need to come with me, Hokage-sama wants to see you, Yugao said to him, and behind her stood 3 more umbus. The what now? Naruto asked, raising his eyebrow in confusion. Yugao and her 3 umbu teammates lead Naruto to the Hokage Tower. Once they saw the building, Naruto asked, isn't this where the old man works? Yugao nodded, it is, but you should not be disrespectful like that, call him Hokage-sama. Are you saying the old man is the Hokage? Naruto asked and began laughing. That's the funniest thing I have heard all day. They had walked up the stairs inside the building by now and had reached the door to the Hokage's office. You may enter, Yugao said as Naruto threw the door open. Just as Naruto expected, there sat the old guy smoking his pipe and reading Ika Ika Volume 9. Yo, old man. How's it hanging? Naruto greeted his old grandfather figure who was sitting at his desk smoking his pipe. Hiruzen smiled at Naruto and stood up. Naruto, my boy. I hear you have been causing trouble. Naruto started sweating and backed away as Hiruzen was approaching him. Tea trouble? He stammered, I swear whatever you have heard, it is all lies. Oh? Hiruzen had a disappointed look on his face. Then I was proud of you for no reason. That's right, nothing you have heard is true, so don't even try to make me do your fucking chores, old man. Hiruzen smiled and returned to his desk and then turned to take a look at Naruto again before he slammed his hand on his desk, repeatedly laughing his ass off. Ha ha. You are still such an idiot. Naruto pouted. I am not. Oh well, Hiruzen said as he dried his eyes from laughing too hard. Come sit and tell me your story. For the next 2 hours, Naruto told Hiruzen everything that he could remember since that day he was kidnapped 3 years ago, being taken care of and trained by Atama Senju, and his various exploits as a bounty hunter. He also told him about his meetings with Erosen, who Hiruzen figured must be Jiraiya. The story ended with his meeting of Team 7 recently. Hiruzen held a hand to his chin and thought So you call yourself Senju and you have become a bounty hunter who specializes in kenjutsu, and you have killed countless of missing nin and fought Jiraiya of the Sannin many times, and on top of that you are an alcoholic who hates the Uchiha clan? Hiruzen summarized what Naruto had told him. Naruto nodded. Yes, old man, that is correct. You're 13, Hiruzen pointed out. I am, Naruto answered. Hiruzen stood up and walked slowly towards Naruto. Is he going to reward me for being such a badass? Naruto thought with a smile. The smile quickly changed into an expression of pain as Hiruzen slammed his fist down on Naruto's head. You have become an idiot. Well, more of an idiot, Hiruzen scolded. That has to change. As of now you will be a ninja of Konoha working for me. Who are you calling idiot, you old monkey? Naruto yelled back at him, which earned him another hit to the head, and now Naruto had 2 big lumps sticking out of his hair. Naruto held his head in pain. Damn, that hurt. What are your fists made of, stone? Let me tell you something first. You should give up on your stupid plan to kill the Uchiha clan. Why? They are our natural enemies, Naruto asked, narrowing his eyes. Because they have pretty much been wiped out already. There are only a few of them left, Hiruzen explained. Wiped out? When? Uchiha Itachi, the older brother of Sasuke who you have met recently, went rogue after killing his whole clan with the exception of Sasuke, their younger sister Midori, and their mother Mikoto. Those 4 are the only people from the Uchiha clan that are still alive. Hiruzen continued his explanation with a somber look. I see, Naruto said, sighing, but who is Sasuke? I haven't met any Uchiha Sasuke. I did meet Hiruno Sasuke though. Did you mix them up, old man? Sasuke. Naruto had combined Sasuke's, Sakura's, and Taiya's name. Well, even if you have met him or not, I want you to stop going after any Uchiha clan member that is a part of Konoha at the very least. Naruto pouted. Can I kill one of them? Please? No. Fine, Naruto whined. I will promise to try not to kill them at the very least, but if they give me a reason to kill them, I will do so. Very well, Hiruzen agreed. Now, will you become a ninja of Konoha? Hiruzen asked. Will you pay me? Hiruzen nodded and scratched his bear. You will get paid for the missions you do. And sake? Naruto asked. What about it? How much sake will I get as a bonus for each mission? None. Hiruzen yelled and slammed his fist on Naruto's head once again. Itai. An hour later, just outside of Konoha. Damn that old monkey, Naruto thought while nursing his head. He didn't have to hit so hard. After hitting Naruto a few more times and putting a Konoha mark with a stamp on his forehead, Hiruzen had sent Naruto on his first mission. He was to find a certain genin team and bring them safely back to Konoha. The genin team had been sent on their first C-ranked mission. The mission was to act as bodyguards for a businessman on his way to a village at the Fire Country's border. This village, however, was not a normal village. It was a village where many ninjas and bounty hunters gathered when they took a break during their missions. Sometimes, but very rarely, even missing nins gather there, and that is the reason why Naruto is sent to back up the genin team. The genin team was Team 8 led by Yuhi Kurenai, a rookie jounin. Her 3 genins are Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino, and Hyuga Hinata. 3 hours quickly passed as Naruto ran towards the village at high speed. Team 8 had completed their mission and had headed out from the village an hour ago. An half hour after they had left the village, they had been attacked by ninjas from Rain Village. There was 4 Rain ninjas in total, 3 of them Chunin, and 1 of them a Jounin. The Jounin was no stranger to Kurenai since he was a former Konoha ninja, Rokusho Aoi. Kiba and Hinata had both lost to their Chunin opponents quickly, while Shino held up longer but in the end lost as well. Kurenai was holding up until she was distracted by seeing all of her genins losing their battles. One of the Chunins kicked Kiba in the head, while laughing so weak. The one that had beaten Shino did the same, while the one that had beaten Hinata was leering at her. Let's bring this girl and that woman and have some fun tonight, Captain Aoi. You bastards! Kurenai yelled with blood falling out of her mouth. She was pinned to the ground by Aoi, who had took advantage of her being distracted and managed to surprise Kurenai. This was the scene that Naruto walked into. Arara, a fight? Naruto said in a boring tone, gaining the attention of everyone there. Get lost, brat. The Chunin that was standing next to Kiba said, while the one next to Shino pointed to Naruto's forehead. He has the Konoha mark. He is with them. He doesn't have a forehead protector. He's probably just some brat playing ninja. Ignore him, the one that was leering at Hinata said. Naruto looked around, ignoring the brat comments for now, and then he noticed something. He walked up to the Chunin next to Kiba and unsealed his sword from a scroll which he had stored in his small shirt pocket. He brought the back of the sword to Kiba's head and poked him and said, "Aren't you that? You know Kiba? That doesn't look like a toy sword. What should we do with him, Captain?" The Chunin next to Kiba asked Aoi, who answered quickly, "Just kill him as well and do it quick, we don't have all day." Kiba had taken a lot of damage and was currently very dizzy. The only thing he could make out was blonde hair and a stupid smile and something poking him. "Cut it out," he whined. Naruto grinned and turned his attention back to the Rain Ninja. "Are any of you guys teammate?" The Rain Ninjas didn't answer. Instead, they had armed themselves with kunais and surrounded Naruto, who hadn't moved or even noticed that they had surrounded him. "We are teammate," Kiba managed to say between coughs. "I see," Naruto said, putting a hand to his chin. "I have figured out the situation." "Die!" The three Chunins yelled at the same time, throwing their kunais at him. Naruto quickly deflected the kunais with his sword and then moved at such a high speed that no one there could follow him. He had ran past each one of the Chunins once, and no one saw it, but he had drawn his sword 3 times. "Hanayuta Sancho," Naruto said, slowly walking past the Chunins who had not moved from their spot. A moment later, all 3 of them started bleeding from a big cut on their stomach, blood coming out from their mouths then falling down on the ground. "Yahazagiri." 3-verse humming, arrow notch slash. "Ah crap," Naruto said, stomping his foot on the ground. "I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Senju." "Nani?" Aoi said with wide eyes. "So that is it? You have come for my bounty then, huh? Bounty hunter Senju." "Huh?" Naruto said in a bored tone. "Who are you?" Kurenai had finally regained her composure, yelled, "You can't defeat this man. I will hold him up to give you time to get my genins out of here." Naruto narrowed his eyes at her. "Are you the old man?" "Huh? No," was Kurenai's answer. "Then no, I don't take orders from anyone but the old man, so I refuse," Naruto said and did a hand sign Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, creating 10 solid shadow clones. "This brat," Aoi thought, staring down at the clones. "You know that technique? Impressive. But that won't be enough against me." Aoi armed himself with the Raijin no Ken, Sword of the Thunder God, and charged Naruto's clones. "Bunshin Daibakuha," Naruto whispered from behind a tree where had hidden himself, and soon after his clones exploded. Naruto managed to see Aoi using the replacement technique to get himself to safety before smoke covered the area. "Damn it," Naruto said and walked out from where he was hiding and stared up at Aoi, who was standing on a large tree branch. "I am a jounin for a reason, you know," Aoi said before jumping down on the ground, "but for now I have had enough of you. Let's settle this, shall we?" "Crap. I really wanted to end this with ninjutsu," Naruto whined while drying his fake tears. "Oh well." Naruto focused as he saw Aoi running at him at a high speed with that lightning sword. Naruto charged at Aoi at an even higher speed. "Atori ai. Sure, son. Naruto's quick draw sword technique was a lot faster than Aoi was prepared for. The result was Naruto's sword cutting Aoi from his shoulder down to his waist, nearly cutting him into 2 halves. "I'm done," Naruto said as Aoi fell down on the ground, obviously dead with blood everywhere. He reseated his sword and walked towards Kurenai, who had seen everything. "Now then," Naruto began, "are you teammate?" "Hi," Kurenai answered, taken a bit by surprise. "I am the Jounin sensei of Team 8, Yuhi Kurenai." "I see," Naruto said before creating 3 shadow clones. His clones picked up Kiba, Hinata and Shino and threw them over their shoulders while Naruto did the same with Kurenai. "Then I will take you guys back to Konoha. It is my mission after all." Just as Naruto was about to leave with Team 8, who he and his clones was currently carrying, Kurenai reminded him of something. "You should take that sword with you, and Aoi as well. He is a Konoha missing nin." Naruto snapped his head to look at Kurenai, but all he saw was her back, since he had thrown her over his shoulder earlier, and her head hung down behind him. "Oh, that's right, can't leave a bounty here like that." "Why the sword?" "That is the Raijin no Ken, and that is one of the swords our second Hokage Senju Tobirama used before he died," Kurenai explained. Naruto whistled. "Tobirama, huh?" Before he created another clone to seal both the sword and Aoi's remains. After that, Naruto and his clones started running towards Konoha at a fast pace, but not as fast as when he was alone and not carrying someone, which meant that it would take longer to travel the same distance back to Konoha. After 3 hours of running and jumping from tree to tree in the forest, Naruto decided to take a rest since they had only gotten halfway in that amount of time. Kurenai noticed that Naruto slowed down and asked, "Why are you stopping?" "I need a rest," Naruto said, and put her and the others down before he walked away and sat down facing the 4 of them. Kiba and the others had still not woken up, but Kurenai had noticed something strange. The wounds on all of her genins had healed somewhat, and there were no scratches or anything to show from the battle earlier other than the blood on their clothes. Taking a look at their savior, she saw something that irritated her very much, sitting there across from them was that brat drinking sake and reading a volume of Ika Ika Paradise. That bounty sure will come in handy now that I am almost out of sake, Naruto said, then laughed before he focused on the book again. Would you mind doing that some other time, like when you are alone and not out in public with others? Kurenai asked in an irritated tone. Naruto had confused expression. Doing what? Kurenai forgot about her anger with him drinking and reading perverted novels in front her due to something she had forgotten to do earlier. Thanks for saving us. I admit I might have underestimated you earlier, you are very strong for your age. Ahaha, don't sweat it, it was no problem at all, Naruto said with a smile before he took a good look at Kurenai and looked her up and down. Nice legs, Naruto offered, since it was only right to give someone who just complimented you a compliment yourself. Kurenai looked as if she had not registered what Naruto had told her yet. You complimented me earlier, so it's only right I compliment you since I'm a good boy after all, Naruto said with a grin and a thumbs up. Kurenai's eyebrow twitched in irritation. And nice legs, she repeated. Naruto nodded while he pocketed his Ika Ika and chugged the rest of his sake before saying, well, let's head back now, creating 3 new clones to carry Kiba and the others once again. Can you walk? Naruto asked. Kurenai walked over to Naruto and hit on the head. Carry me. Naruto threw her over his shoulder once again. Didn't have to hit me, you know. If you wanted me to carry you just had to say so. Kurenai gritted her teeth and growled, I don't want you to carry me, but we need to get back. But you just... Naruto said with a sweat drop as Kurenai hit him again, yelling, carry me normally. Naruto tried many different ways of carrying Kurenai until they both agreed on bridal style. You happy now, woman? Naruto said, irritated. Do you want me to hit you again? Kurenai said, looking up at him. Ga, I hate you, Naruto said in a whiny voice, and then he and his clones ran towards Konoha. Run faster, Kurenai ordered, smiling at Naruto's expression. Shut up, Tobeo. Naruto's screams could be heard even a mile away and probably woke up the rest of Team 8. 1 hour later, back in Konoha. Naruto had ran even faster than when he was trying to find Team 8 since Kurenai had ordered him and wouldn't stop no matter how much Naruto whined about it. Once inside Konoha, he had gotten the attention of pretty much everyone they had passed on their way towards the Hokage Tower. One of those people were Asuma, who was eating at a barbecue joint with the other members of Team 10. Nuh! Asuma yelled with tears falling from his eyes. You won't get my Heim that easily, you Namake's brat. And followed after them. What the fuck did I do? Naruto yelled as he looked back at Asuma while running even faster. Kurenai got his attention by putting her hand on his chest. That's Asuma, he has been in love with me for as long as I remember. I guess he is the jealous type, she grinned at him. Jealous of what? Naruto said with a sweat drop. He can carry you, and here you're bitching all he wants for all I care. What did I tell you earlier? Kurenai glared at him with murder in her eyes. Naruto sighed. Whatever you want, Kurenai-chan. And he started running fast enough while using Shunshin to lose Asuma. Once he and his clones reached the Hokage office, he dropped the genins on the floor while Kurenai slowly got off Naruto. Naruto's clones quickly dispelled and Naruto stood there sweating and trying to catch his breath. The genins of Team 8 had woken up from being dropped on the ground and was now looking around a bit confused since they did not know how they got here. I have, Naruto said between breaths, completed the mission, old monkey. Team 8 had expected some sort of yell of disrespect from the Hokage, but instead he just smiled and nodded. Good job, shitty brat. NGHH. Naruto exclaimed as he had finally had enough with being making a fool of. Kurenai's bitching earlier and the treatment from this old monkey was unacceptable. He unsealed his scroll while his eyes twitched and big veins appeared on his forehead. You and me outside now, monkey. Within a second, Hiruzen had jumped from his seat behind his desk and punched Naruto in the head, giving him a large lump sticking out from it. Naruto was laying on the floor holding his head, screaming in pain. Fuck, I hate this place. Ma, Hiruzen said and took something out of his pocket and dropped it on Naruto's head. It was a bottle of sake. Here is your payment. Naruto looked at it, suddenly forgetting about the pain in his head. Sake? Naruto said with drool coming from his mouth. Thanks, Ji-chan. Naruto yelled and hugged him. Alright, Hiruzen said, trying to get Naruto off of him. You can leave now, go get yourself some ramen or something. I need to speak with Team 8. Naruto nodded and picked up his sake bottle and jumped head first out the window that was still closed, breaking the glass. Take the door next time, Hiruzen yelled after him. A week had passed since Naruto returned with Team 8. Not much had happened during this week. Naruto had taken a training ground that no one seemed to use for himself. He had trained for most of the week in ninjutsu since he was still lacking in that area, but had many scrolls on various ninjutsu techniques that he could learn. He had also sparred against Gamahiro a few times during the week to improve his kenjutsu, and add another loss to their record. He had also summoned Gamaken daily so he could bring a big barrel of sake which they would share and then make fun and talk shit about Gamahiro, Gamabunta and Jiraiya. A few days ago a group of Chunins had come to the training grounds demanding that Naruto leave because it was their time to use it. Naruto had knocked them out and tied them with ropes around a tree which they are still tied to today. Just now someone had appeared on the training grounds after using a shunshin to get there. Most likely someone that would end up the same way as the Chunins tied to the tree. Hatake Kakashi had arrived from Wave yesterday, and earlier this morning Hiruzen had ordered him to bring Naruto to his office. Yo Naruto, Kakashi greeted him with a wave. Naruto, who was sitting inside one of his sake barrels, stared at him with a bored expression. What do you want? Hiding the fact that he was unsheathing his sword. Naruto was not a big fan of Hatake Kakashi, and if he was going to demand to have the training ground as well he would have to fight for it. Oh, don't be so cold, Kakashi said and picked up his Ika book and read it. Hokage-sama wants you to go to his office. After jumping out from the barrel that he got stuck to earlier trying to drink the sake that was at the very bottom, Naruto used a shunshin to get near the Hokage tower without saying any more words to Kakashi. Naruto then jumped into the Hokage office through the window that was now open and he saw Hiruzen sitting behind his desk reading his own Ika. Hiruzen coughed and put the book away. You're late, Hiruzen complained. I got here as soon as Kakashi told me. I told Kakashi to get you 5 hours ago. I don't see how that is my fault, Naruto said, sitting down in a chair in front of Hiruzen's desk. Guess that is to be expected when you ask Kakashi to do something, Hiruzen mumbled before he told Naruto, you forgot to tell me about something after your mission last time. Naruto nodded, knowing what he meant, and took a scroll from his shirt's pocket and unsealed it on the desk. Out came a corpse from one missing ninja Naruto had hunted before he came to Konoha. Quickly sealing it back into the scroll after saying "Ah, wrong one," Naruto found the right scroll and unsealed the remains of Aoi. I don't want you to throw corpses on my desk, I want the Raijin no Ken, Hiruzen said with a sweat drop. Why though? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. I found it, not you, so it is mine now. Hiruzen sighed. So you have it then? Naruto nodded as Hiruzen continued. Good, that is all I wanted to know, don't lose it. Yeah, Naruto said before his expression went sour. You know someone had trifled with the contents of that sake bottle you gave me. Oh, how so? Hiruzen said, smiling. There was no sake in it, just milk, tasted like shit, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded. That's right, you are brat and brats should drink milk. So it was you, Naruto said with a glare. I should beat you up. Ah, that sounds fun, Hiruzen said boringly, but before that I need you to shut up for a minute and listen. I'm listening, monkey. Why you? I don't have all day. With another sigh, Hiruzen began talking about how he wanted Naruto to become a Konoha genin. He told Naruto that he was disappointed in his generation since none of them were even close to the prodigies of earlier generations such as Minato, Kakashi, and Itachi. Apparently there was a Chunin exams coming up in 4 months that would be held in Konoha, and he wanted Naruto to take a part of that with the team. He explained that Konoha has been known for a long time as the strongest of the 5 big ninja villages, and he would like it to stay that way. But there is one problem. I have one suitable member for your new genin team, but I can't find the last one, Hiruzen explained. Naruto scratched his chin and thought I could summon Gamakichi and have him act as a third member. I assume that is one of your toad friends? Hiruzen asked. Naruto nodded and Hiruzen sighed once again. No, it must be a human. Well, what the fuck, old man? Naruto said, I don't know any people in this village, finding a third member is your job. I know, Hiruzen said, but you agree to it then? Yeah, Naruto said boringly. Can I go now? Yes, Hiruzen said before he remembered something that he had thought on earlier. By the way, why are you living out on that training field instead of at your apartment? Apartment? I have an apartment? Naruto asked. Of course you have. Hiruzen yelled and pointed out the window. Your old apartment is still yours. I have paid the rent for you the 3 years you have been gone, and also had people to clean the place from time to time. Naruto looked at the apartment and smiled. Really, old man? You're a good guy after all. Hiruzen mumbled something as he tried to find his pipe and Ika before saying get lost. See ya, monkey! Naruto yelled, laughing as he jumped through one of the closed windows and broke another one, but just before that he had thrown 3 scrolls to Hiruzen containing Aoi and 2 other missing nin. Naruto's next stop would be at Shiraku Ramen for some ramen and sake. While jumping the rooftops he saw an odd group of people walking down one of the village roads. There was 8 people around his age and all of them he had met recently. It was 8 out of the rookie 9, the only one missing was Tayuya. But saying hello to them was not as important as filling his empty stomach with ramen. At Ichiraku's. Why isn't this place flocked with people? Naruto thought, seeing how the Ichiraku ramen place was empty once again. This was the best food in the world after all, nothing beat it, and what was best was that they served sake as well. Naruto walked into the stand and sat down. 5 bowls of miso ramen, old man. Who you calling old man? Tucci said, pulling up his arm sleeves as he turned around. Naruto, is that you? He asked, a bit surprised since this was the first time seeing him in 3 years. He was not as surprised as Ayame had been, however, since she had told him that Naruto was back. Yeah, old man, it's me. Throw me 5 bowls of miso ramen and a bottle of sake, Naruto said cheerfully. Tucci laughed. 5 bowls of miso ramen coming up. As for the sake, Tucci pointed to the wall behind him where a poster had been placed. On it was a picture of Naruto, and under it was written with big letters, "Not allowed to buy sake, signed Sarutobi Hiruzen." God damn it, Naruto yelled, that fucking monkey. Naruto slammed his fist down on the counter. He quickly forgot about his anger as Tucci had placed his 5 bowls in front of him as he buried his face within the bowl, and before Tucci could find time to turn around and start on the dishes, Naruto had emptied his first bowl. I'm gonna need 5 more bowls after this, Naruto said, looking up from his second bowl for a second before he devoured it as well. Uzumaki Tayuya had just arrived at Ichiraku, and the first thing she did was sat down and ordered a bowl of chicken ramen. She had not bothered to take a glimpse to her left to notice that Naruto was here as well. But the sounds Naruto was making as he emptied bowl after bowl in record times was starting to annoy her. This is the best food ever, Naruto said as tears almost fell from his eye. Tucci nodded. It is, isn't it? He said as he gave Tayuya what she had ordered earlier. Naruto got his face out of his 5th bowl and stared at Tayuya with ramen hanging out his mouth. That is. Wasn't she that? Forget it, he thought, and emptied the 5th bowl in a second. Tucci, being a chef with good timing, had just placed the other 5 he had ordered in front him, so Naruto naturally found a new place to bury his face. Tayuya had enough with the sounds. Who was this pig that was sitting next to her? She thought as she looked to her left. She immediately recognized him as the guy her team had ran into their mission. The one who did not answer her questions regarding who the fuck he was and why they shared their last name. Hey fucker, Tayuya said, you are Uzumaki Naruto, right? Naruto once again stopped eating while having ramen hanging out of his mouth, and some stuck to his face, and stared at Tayuya thinking something similar to earlier before he continued eating. Oh no, Tucci thought as he knew that Tayuya hated to be ignored. Tayuya was red from anger, and a tick mark formed above her eye as she stood up and got over to Naruto. Fucker, I asked you a fucking question. Naruto, who still had 3 more bowls to finish, took them all and threw the contents into his mouth, and swallowed it all. He then patted his stomach and breathed. That was some good food. Thanks, old man, he said, and paid for 10 bowls. He then walked out of the stand without a word. Tayuya quickly paid for her meal as well and then ran after him, ready to open a can of Woo-Pass. Naruto was going to check out his old apartment, maybe get some sleep in a bed for once. He had taken the same road that he had seen the Rookie 9 on earlier, since that road led to the building his apartment was a part of. The Rookie 9 were currently watching something of a scene that one member of their group had caused. Uchiha Sasuke was currently scolding his little sister Midori, who had seen them and told Sasuke that their mother wanted to talk with about the mission he had returned from recently. Sasuke had told Midori to go away and not bother him when he was with his ninja colleagues. This had angered Midori since she saw herself as a better ninja than Sasuke, even though she had not graduated the academy yet. Midori was 1 year younger than Sasuke and the rest of the Rookie 9, making her 12 years old. Midori was about as tall as Hinata, who was the shortest of the Rookie 9. Her hair was a messy dark blue, almost black, and it reached down to her shoulders. She had cute face and big red eyes. She wore a black jumpsuit with the Uchiha fan on the back of her shirt. And, if you have seen School Rumble, imagine that she looks like Tsukamoto Yakumo. If you haven't seen it, you could Google it. Midori was not as stubborn or uptight as Sasuke was, but she was very shy around guys, making people believe she was just as uptight as Sasuke. She was also very strong for her age, and would probably give most of the Rookie 9 a good fight. Midori had a rivalry with Sasuke, and that was why they were fighting in the middle of the road, even though she was usually so shy. So I am not allowed to speak to you while you're with your friends just because I am not an official ninja yet? Midori growled at him. Sasuke answered with a smirk that Sakura thought made him look so cool. Sakura had another thing on her mind, something Ino had told her earlier. Ino had told her that she could have Sasuke because she had found someone better and much cooler. Sakura was just about to question who that was when Naruto with Tayuya on his tails walked into the scene. Everyone stopped what they were doing and stared at him as he walked with his nose deep down into a volume of Ika Ika. Naruto looked up from the book for a second and nodded towards Kiba yo Kiba, then Shikamaru and Chuji Shikuji, and then jumped as he dodged a low kick coming from Tayuya. He walked past them like that without another word while Tayuya had stopped due to someone glaring at her. It's Shikamaru and Shuji. Troublesome Shikamaru mumbled. What is it, Ino? Tayuya asked the glaring girl with her own glare. What are you doing with Naruto? Ino asked in an angry tone. Tayuya got even angrier at that. I am trying to kick the fucker's ass. Stay away from him. Ino yelled and got ready to defend her new love interest. Sakura had seemed to put it together, as she now had her jaw dropped on the ground in shock. Ino's in love with Naruto, she thought. Naruto, who had walked far enough that he could not hear them, turned around and looked at Midori, then Sasuke. Sasuke had his back to him, and he saw the Uchiha fan on his shirt. Oh, so that was what you meant, Fox. Naruto spoke inwardly towards Kurama, referring to something Kurama had told him after the events at the bridge in Wave. One of the things Team 7 had lied about Naruto was about Sasuke not being an Uchiha, and in that way saved his life. Just as he was about to continue towards his house, he noticed someone jumping down from a rooftop and was now standing behind him. He knew who this person was and it irritated him. Why did he have to see her so soon? She was the devil. Kurenai smiled and poked Naruto on the shoulder to get his attention. Before Naruto could tell her to go to hell, he had to dodge a kick to the head coming from none other than Sarutobi Asuma. He had bent down and dodged it, and Asuma had landed on his feet and turned around and faced him. I told you to stay away from her, Asuma growled. I keep asking you, Amusa, what the hell have I done? Naruto yelled back, and the two of them had gained everyone's attention nearby, including the rookie Nine and Midori. I warned you and told you not to try anything with my Heim, Asuma said, slowly closing the distance between them and gripping his fist. Your Heim? Naruto asked, but I haven't seen her since that night, and she's over there, he said, pointing at Ino. Kurenai laughed at that due to the red face of Asuma, who yelled back with his finger pointed at Kurenai, that is my Heim. Ino is just my brat of a student. Naruto scratched the back of his head and laughed. So what is the problem then? Asuma, Kurenai said, gaining his attention. You and me are not dating. But Kurenai, Asuma whined. And stop making a fool of yourself in front of all the students, she said as Asuma saw who was just there. But Kurenai, please tell me that you are not, Asuma pleaded, but Kurenai interrupted him. Go away, Asuma. Asuma gave up for this time and walked away with one single thought: she won't deny it. Like a light bulb going, Naruto had realized what was going on. Is that guy a retard or something? Who would be interested in someone like you? What was that? Kurenai responded quickly, cracking her knuckles. You think you can take me? Naruto said, unsheathing his sword. I won't go easy on you just because you're a woman. Kurenai's eyebrow twitched, and she smiled in a way that looked really forced. Just because I am a woman? Yeah, I don't like fighting women, Naruto answered, then mumbled, I have a bad history with fighting women. He might be referring to that time one of the Sanins beat him up. Or that other time when he was caught again doing the same thing. Kurenai sighed and her anger disappeared. She wanted to talk with Naruto ever since they got back from that mission, but she could not find anywhere in the village. I was just going to thank you again for saving us on that mission. Don't worry about it, Naruto said with a grin, and then waved. I need to get some rest. Oh no, you won't, Kurenai warned him. I know what resting means for you. Hand over the sake and arrow books. This had the rookie Nine laughing, especially Kiba. Now Naruto was going to get it. He deserved that for making fun of him on that mission. He was thankful that Naruto saved them, but he didn't have to poke him with his sword and laugh at him. You have a wild imagination, Kurenai-san, Naruto said in a bored tone before doing the signs for a shunshin. I am just going home to get some sleep, Bakana. He yelled and disappeared in a gust of wind. The next time I see him, Kurenai said with her eyes twitching as she walked away. Tayuya glared at Kurenai since she was the one that was going to beat him up and then get answers on everything she wanted to know. Shikamaru walked away with a sweat drop after watching everything that had went down between the rookie Nine and even their teachers. Everyone's fighting, troublesome. With a yawn, he jumped up a rooftop and laid there staring at the clouds. With Naruto outside his apartment's door. Naruto stood outside his door sweating and in a pissed of mood. I lost them, he thought as he opened the door, got inside quickly and closed the door, then sat down behind it as if hiding from something. A second later, Tayuya and Kurenai had arrived as they stomped their feet into the ground on their way there. They knocked on Naruto's door, glaring at each other while Naruto fell asleep with his back to the door, hugging his sword. Naruto had slept for 16 hours straight, which was normal after he had trained a lot for a week with minimal sleep. But Naruto being in Konoha for a week without a single mission had bored him, and he was hungry for some action. With that thought, he headed towards the Hokage Tower. It was currently very early in the morning, Only old people and party people that had not gone to sleep yet was up at this time. When Naruto arrived at Hiruzen's office, he saw Hiruzen sitting on his chair sleeping with his head on the desk. To his right in the corner of the room was Kakashi sleeping in a way that looked as if he had been knocked out. In the other corner and to his left was Jiraiya sleeping in the same way. What the fuck did they do yesterday? Naruto thought, taking in the sight. After a loud snore from Hiruzen, he woke up and stared at Naruto, who had taken a seat in front of his desk. Good morning, shitty brat, Hiruzen said in a low voice as he stood up and stretched his arms above his head. Morning, monkey. I need a mission. Naruto got right to the point. Need a mission, huh? Hiruzen said before his eyebrow twitched. You don't realize how much problems you have caused for me. Problems? Explain. See those two? Hiruzen said, referring to Jiraiya and Kakashi. They came here yesterday together with one other Jounin sensei demanding changes to the team rosters. Naruto nodded. Yes, I understand. They want all of their genins to quit being ninja and get new genins, right? Hiruzen grabbed his hair and pulled it. No, they want you on their team, Hiruzen yelled while thinking, why would anyone want to be his teacher? Before he continued explaining, as for Jiraiya, he wants you to become his apprentice and stay teamless. That would be fine, except I need you on a team for the reason I explained yesterday. I don't get it. Speak sense, Naruto demanded. I told you they want you on your team and they are fighting over it, Hiruzen said with a sigh. And I told you to speak sense. What does that have to do with me? I ain't joining their loser teams anyway, and I sure as hell ain't becoming Erosenin's apprentice. Hiruzen smiled at that. That's what I wanted to hear. So you want a mission? Naruto nodded. I need to move around or I get bored. Hiruzen thought for a while, then asked, how about I let you lead a squad of genins on a C-ranked mission? C-ranked? Naruto asked. Is that a mission suitable for my skills? Well, Hiruzen said, scratching his beard, C ranks are not the hardest of missions, but it is a good start. You just joined the village after all, and I am letting you lead a squad already. Okay, I accept, Naruto said, then asked, what is the mission details? I will tell you about that later. First you need to gather your squad. You will need to pick 2 genins of your choice, and the last one will be this person, Hiruzen said, and handed Naruto a file with a picture of someone Naruto saw yesterday. Naruto read the name out loud, Uchiha Midori. Hiruzen nodded. Yes, she is still an academy student, but I have decided to let her graduate early and become a member of your future team. Cut the crap, Naruto said with his hands shaking in anger before he threw the file back to Hiruzen. I can agree to not hunt them, but I won't work with them. What about we make a little deal? Hiruzen said with a grin. 10 minutes later at the Uchiha clan compound. Not many people was awake yet, as it was still early in the morning, but around here there was never a lot of people anyway, since that day Itachi had slaughtered almost the whole clan. So there was not many that saw the odd sight of the Hokage and Naruto walking into the Uchiha clan compound both with big grins and knocking on the front door to Sasuke's home. What idiot would be up this early? They heard a woman's voice from inside say in a somewhat angry tone. Uchiha Mikoto opened the door, and the 2 people that stood outside would not be her first guests as she had one. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Sandaime Hokage, rarely made home visits, and the other one had to be her friend's son who disappeared 3 years ago. Hokage-sama? She said, surprised. Did Sasuke do something bad? Hiruzen chuckled. No, it's not like that. I'm here for Midori. Could you get her? Midori? Mikoto questioned. Why would he want to meet Midori? She never gets in trouble, she thought before she went to get her, after saying sure I will get her and nice to see you again. Naruto still sounding a bit confused. Who is that? Naruto said as she had disappeared from their view. How does she know my name? Let's just say she was a friend of your parents, Hiruzen said. Oh? Naruto said, raising an eyebrow. Some poor woman my useless dad nailed once? Hiruzen narrowed his eye at Naruto after hearing that. What did you just say? Do you know who your dad is? Naruto nodded. Sure I do. Then looked at Hiruzen oddly. Do you know which one of your testicles is your left? The left one, obviously, Hiruzen answered. Obviously, Naruto repeated with a grin. Why, you little, Hiruzen began and was ready to bonk him on the head when Mikoto returned with Midori, who looked as if she had just woken up. She bowed and said, you wanted to see me, Hokage-sama? Naruto snickered at that, and Hiruzen waved her up. No need for that, young lady, he said, and Midori stopped bowing. Hiruzen grabbed something from his coat, which they soon saw was a Konoha forehead protector. Uchiha Midori, I have decided to let you graduate early and become a genin as of today. Do you accept? Midori developed a huge smile after she got over her shock. Really? Of course I accept, she said cheerfully, taking the forehead protector and hugging it. Sasuke is going to be so mad when he finds out, she said to Mikoto, who sighed and nodded. Hiruzen then coughed into his handy hem. Let me introduce you to your teammate, Uzumaki Naruto, he finished with pushing Naruto forward and saying, "Introduce yourself, brat." "I am Senju, Yoroshiku." Naruto had thrown his face into hers and he looked more like a delinquent bullying someone than a ninja. "This is the guy Sasuke told me to stay away from," Midori thought as she stared at Naruto, but she was too shy to say anything and respond. Hiruzen on the other hand bonked Naruto on the head. "Don't forget about what we agreed on earlier." "Whatever, I was just having some fun," Naruto said, sitting with crossed arms looking the other way, pouting. This had Midori loosen up a bit as she laughed at what she saw. Maybe that guy was not so bad after all. "So Midori, are you ready for your first mission? You will be leaving this morning with this idiot being in charge," Hiruzen asked. "Hi, Hokage-sama," she answered with a salute. "Okay, meet me in my office in an hour. Naruto, you get the other two and meet me there as well," Hiruzen said. Chain Naruto responded, "Whatever you say, old monkey," and jumped out of the Uchiha clan compound. Now all Naruto had to do was figure out who the last member of the temporary squad would be. He had already found the third from the start, which was Kiba, of course, considering that was the only one whose name he could remember. He was considering the lazy bastard because he was fun to hang with from what he could remember, but he needed to balance the team. And by balancing a team he means not having too many guys, so he would need to find a female. "Do I even know any girls?" Naruto thought, sitting on a rooftop nearby Ichiraku Ramen that had yet to open. "I could always have a clone henge in Tsuheim. That way I will always have something nice to look at," he thought with a perverted smile, but I doubt the monkey would fall for that. "Ah!" Naruto yelled. Of course Kiba should be able to help. He then sprinted towards Kiba's home. After arriving he stormed to the front door and banged on it with his fists. "Kiba! Oi Kiba! You awake? Kiba Databeo!" He stopped yelling and knocking on the door when he heard footsteps. A girl who looked like she was maybe 2 years older than himself, with brown hair and black eyes and 2 big red triangle markings on each cheek, opened the door. She was only wearing a towel as she had rushed out from the shower to open the door. And Hana is 15 in this story instead of 18. "What is wrong with you? It's 6 in the morning," Hana said after she had thrown the door open in an angry tone. "Hey, is Kiba." Naruto saw just who he spoke to and shot backwards with blood exploding from his nose. Hana laughed at that while Kiba arrived wearing his pajamas. "What's going on? Who's the bastard causing all the noise?" He then saw Naruto on the ground outside the door with a dumb smile and blood all over his face. "Naruto?" Kiba sniggering as he picked up stick and poked him. "Is that you, Naruto?" "Haha," Naruto laughed. "Kiba, there's a total babe in your doorway." "What, where?" Kiba said, looking at the door. "I don't see any babes, just my sister Hana." "That's who I meant, dumbass," Naruto said, wiping of the blood and jumping in front of Hana. "Yo." "Hi," she said, responded, not very interested. "It seems that fate wanted me to find you here," he said, taking her hand. "I was looking for someone just like you to take the last spot in my squad." "Just like me?" she asked, confused. "What do you mean by that?" "I will explain later," he said, and then looked over at Kiba, who was somewhat angry at Naruto because he gotten excited for no reason. There was no babe nearby. "Kiba, you are also going?" "With you and Hana?" "No way, pal," Kiba said, waving him away. "Why would I spend any more time than I need with that witch?" "Kiba," Hana said slowly and threateningly. "Alright, I'm sorry," Kiba said, backing away. "So are you planning on leaving like that, or are you going to get some clothes on?" Hana sighed. "Well, I will come with you, Naruto, was it? But only to see how Kiba acts on a real mission," she said with a smile. Naruto nodded. "Let's go then, you look just fine to me, no need for clothes," holding up his thumb and winking. "Pervert," she said, and closed the door in his face. At 7 in the morning the group had gathered in Hiruzen's office where Kakashi and Jiraiya was still passed out. "Ah, good, you found the people," Hiruzen acknowledged. Then he looked at Hana, then back to Naruto. "Hana is a chunin. I told you genin only." "Yes, I know, but all the genin I know were busy, so I had no other choice," Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. "No other choice," Hana said as she snapped her head towards him. "What are you implying?" Naruto quickly jumped over to her and whispered, "Just play along. I can't stand the other genins." Hana giggled. "Alright. What a weird guy." Hiruzen shrugged. "Good enough." He then threw Naruto a paper that contained the mission details. "Naruto, you will be the captain and Midori will be the vice captain. Naruto has the same authority as your Jounin senseis, so what he says goes." "Hi, Hana," Midori and Kiba said with a salute, but Naruto on the other hand grinned and walked over to Hana. "The first order is for you to present yourself in the same way as when I first saw you." Naruto was then assaulted in a way that would be too painful to write out. "Not the balls," Naruto cried out as he had just taken a kick to the groin. "Why always the balls?" he whined. Kiba leaned down and said, "It's a mystery, Captain. With the longest sigh of this morning, Hiruzen ordered, "Get going already." Getting up while holding his balls, Naruto slowly made his way out of the office with a half-assed "yes, sir." 5 minutes later, outside of the eastern Konoha gate. "So where are we heading, Captain?" Kiba asked. "We are heading to a village named Oita within the land of hot water," Naruto said, reading from the paper. "We are going to get some kind of item there." Naruto hung his head in disappointment. Kiba put a hand on his back. "Cheer up, Captain, this is C-ranked after all. The others are going to be so jealous that I got to go on another one so soon after the last one." "But," Naruto whined, "it's a baby mission." "Ah no. Captain Naruto, we are only genin, and we are already going on AC ranked for our first mission. I don't think that has ever happened before," Midori said, trying to cheer her captain and future teammate up. Naruto was about to tell her that she was not allowed to speak within his presence, and that it was most likely her fault that they were going on this kind of joke mission. But he could not bring himself to do it. She was just too damn cute, even if she was an Uchiha. So he chose to mumble for himself and "Get going, follow me team, and speed it up already," he ordered as he jumped into a tree and then jumped from tree branch to tree branch. He quickly noticed that the only one that was even close to keeping up with him was Hana, so he had to slow down. "I hate that monkey," Naruto thought with a tick mark above his eye as he let the others catch up to him. Why didn't the monkey just give him a simple mission like assassinating some traitor or something like that? 2 days later. The mission had gone well as could have been expected. They had arrived at Oita village at the north border of the land of hot water and picked up the item. The only trouble they had was a fight, or more like a misunderstanding within the squad. Flashback 1 day ago. Naruto was leading the group as they walked on a dirt road for a change instead of jumping from tree to tree. This was due to the others' constant complaining about "we need to rest," or "we haven't slept in a day." Slow down, something like this was new to Naruto, as he never really traveled with anyone before. But Naruto knew how he could take advantage of the situation. He turned around and looked at Hana. "Hana, I need you to take the lead for a while." Hana raised an eyebrow high. "Are we still walking for a while?" Naruto nodded and let Hana get in front. As she did, Naruto's eyes dropped downwards as he stared at Hana's back. "Yeah, now we talkin'," Naruto thought with a perverted smile which everyone noticed. "Did you tell me to get in front just so you could stare at my ass?" Hana growled. Naruto nodded. "Of course, that is the reason I brought you in the first place." Hana gritted her teeth. "So that is the reason." "Captain, might I remind you that that is my sister?" Kiba said with a low voice. Midori was slowly backing away from them as she did not want to get caught in the fight. Hana looked really pissed and would attack her funny captain at any second now. "I'm going to kick your ass, then I will take charge. I don't understand why the Hokage let you lead the squad instead of me in the first place," Hana said. "Yeah, why would he?" Naruto asked. He gripped his sword. "Maybe the old monkey is dumb." "Do you think he is dumb, Hana-chan?" "I think he is dumb," Naruto thought before she could answer. "No," Hana said with anger, but she was still going to beat him up for his perverseness and stupidity. But she gave up on that as she stared at Naruto, and as she did so she felt like she was going to die. She saw a small flash, an illusion or something, of Naruto unsheathing his sword and cutting her in half before she could even move. All Naruto had done though was to grip his sword and ready himself for a fight. Hana fell down on the ground, sweating and panting. "Hey, what happened? Are you okay?" Naruto asked as he went up to her. I'm fine," she managed to say. "Forgive me, Naruto, let's continue the mission." "Alright," Naruto said cheerfully. End flashback. After that, you would think that Hana would be distancing herself from Naruto, or at least be more on guard around him, but she was the opposite. She followed his every move instead and didn't complain about Naruto's perverted comments or actions, such as when he reads his Ika in front of them. He had yet to make more perverted comments about her, which she was thankful for, but deep down that was starting to irritate her. Was she no good anymore? The mission was completed, and all they had to do now was bring the item back to Konoha. It turned out the item was a custom-made pipe that the Hokage had ordered for himself. The squad was happy that they could complete the mission easily and did not find it strange that the item was ordered by the Hokage. Naruto, however, was furious and vowed that he would get Hiruzen back for this. Just as they had started leaving Oita village, trouble seemed to have found Naruto once again, or maybe it is Naruto finding trouble. They were now witnesses to some kind of kidnap attempt or hostage situation, as they saw 2 big men with black cloaks with red clouds on them stand beside a blonde girl who wore black and purple clothes. The girl, who looked to be around Naruto's age, had been tied with ropes around her legs and arms. The tied-up girl was Niyujito, a Jinchuriki of Kumo. She contained the 2 tails. And she is way older in the manga, but in my story she is 14, same as Tayuya, both 1 year older than Naruto. The others had no idea what was going on, but Naruto had his suspicions. He had heard of these guys. He did not know who these two were, but he knew what organization they belonged to. He had gotten this information the same way he found out about who his father was, which was Jiraiya, who liked to tell things he shouldn't when he is drunk. They were still a safe distance away from them, so they wouldn't notice them anytime soon unless they make some huge noises. "What should we do, Captain?" Kiba asked. "Are we saving the girl?" Hana asked. Naruto was about to answer as he did a hand sign hidden from their view. "Those two are S-ranked criminals," Naruto said in a low tone as everyone's eyes widened in surprise. "What? No way, how do you know that?" Kiba asked. "I have a very good source of information," Naruto explained as he did another hand sign again, hiding it from the others. "Naruto, you are strong, right?" Hana said. "Can you save her?" Naruto shook his head and said, "No, we can't do anything about this. We are heading back to Konoha." "But Captain," Midori said, not wanting to leave that girl here with those criminals. "I said we are returning, that is an order," Naruto said in a serious tone. 5 minutes later. Naruto had earlier created a shadow clone that he switched places with, and then hid himself and stayed back. The shadow clone was now leading his squad back to Konoha while keeping a fast pace. Naruto needed them to get back to Konoha as fast as possible, so there would be no rest for them this time. Naruto only wished that Erosenin had decided to stalk him this one time when he needed him. He knew he could not win this fight, but he just had to save that girl. She was like him after all. "I'm going to need your help," Naruto spoke inwardly without getting any answer as he walked onto the rather large grass field area where the Akatsuki was still standing. "I told you to cut her legs," of Kakuzu scolded his partner Haiden, since she had managed to run away from them earlier before they captured her again this far away from Kumo. "Jashin-sama does not accept beating little girls," Haiden growled. "Do it yourself." "I told you to do it," Kakuzu yelled back, but both of them stopped arguing and instead focused on the person that had walked into the grass field. They took in his appearance. He walked closer to them. He was wearing almost only dark blue clothes. He had blonde, short, spiky hair, and had a sword hanging down next to his leg as it was attached to a belt on his waist. Kakuzu focused on two things, the blonde hair and the whisker marks, while Haiden focused on the sword. When Naruto was close to enough that they could speak to him without yelling, Haiden asked Kakuzu, "Should I kill him?" "Just who?" Naruto said, slowly grabbing his sword, grinning with a sick smile. "Are you going to kill?" He quickly used the shunshin, making it look like he teleported next to Haiden and cut with his sword, holding it straight with the pointy front going straight through Haiden's throat. Shunshin-giri, teleportation slash, and a similar technique to Hiraishin-jiri, flying thunder god slash. The latter is way faster. The strength of the attack was enough to part Haiden's head from the rest of his body, and Naruto was actually surprised that this supposed S-class ninja didn't dodge his attack. "Haiden, you fool," Kakaza said, kicking his body. "Come on, cut it out. I am hurting enough with my head being cut off." Naruto heard the cut off head speak, then laugh at him. "You think you can kill me?" "Haiden, take a closer look at that kid," Kakuzu said with a scowl. "I already figured out he is that bounty hunter you hate," Haiden said, talking about the rumored Senju bounty hunter, which was Naruto, but that was not what Kakuzu meant. "No, the blonde hair, the whisker marks, and the age. How many people do you think fit that profile?" Kakuzu explained. "Get to it already, Kakuzu, and sew me back to my body." "He is the Kyuubi Jinchuriki," Kakuzu said as he looked at Naruto. "Since you walked right into us, we will gladly take you with us along with the two tails." Naruto did not answer. Instead, he focused on his plan. First, he needed to get the girl away from the two of them. "Kege Bunshin no Jutsu," Naruto said, and formed the hand sign to create 10 clones of himself. Naruto and his clones all threw smoke bombs around Kakuzu and Haiden, and then the clones, who also was armed with swords, attacked Kakuzu at the same time to give Naruto the time he needed to carry Yujito away from there. Just as Naruto thought, his clones had not managed to do anything to Kakuzu, and all of them had been defeated as he had gotten out from the grassy area and hiding behind a tree. He created another clone and had it run away while carrying Yujito. Naruto then walked back into the grassy area. Meanwhile, with Naruto's squad, who had just entered Fire Country, Midoriya, Naruto's clone, said, gaining her attention and kind of pissing her off at the same time. She hated that nickname. "The old monkey told us you are the vice captain, so as the captain I am giving you the last order, which is to get this squad back to Konoha," he finished before disappearing in a puff of smoke. "Hi," Midori answered. "A clone?" Hana said in surprise. "When did he?" "Don't tell me that, bastard," Kiba said angrily, looking back the way they came. "There is nothing we can do. We can't refuse an order from a superior officer. Remember, Hokage-sama told us he had the same authority as a jounin." Hana said that, but she really wanted to go back and drag Naruto back. She was starting to like the little knucklehead. Midori nodded to Hana. We should go. Kiba stomped his foot on the ground in anger, and yelled, if he dies I am going to kill him. With Naruto's clone heading towards the land of frost. Who are you and why are you helping me? Yujito asked as Naruto's clone ran at max speed. He had thrown her over his shoulder earlier the same way he had carried Kurenai and her team a week ago. I'm nobody and I saved you for no reason, Naruto answered in a whisper. Where are you taking me? Yujito asked, fearing for the worst. Kumo, Naruto answered quickly, looking at her. Kumo, forehead protector, you are from Kumo, right? Yujito nodded and Naruto smiled at that, and they kept going northeast towards the land of frost, which you had to pass through to get to the land of lightning and then Kumobikure. Now with Yujito out of the way, Naruto was free to let go without risking her getting hit by his techniques. Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said, creating around 500 solid clones that took up all the space in the grassy area surrounding the two Akatsuki. Kakuzu had sewed Haiden's head back to his body during the time Naruto was hiding. They were both now using taijutsu to get rid of some of the clones as they kicked and punched through them. Bunshin Daibakuha Naruto's clones had all charged the two and exploded while surrounding them. Meanwhile, the real Naruto stood in the back. It took almost a minute for the smoke to disappear that the huge explosion had caused. Standing in the middle where the two Akatsuki members had been before was now 4 dark shadowy-looking creatures surrounded by fire that had lit on the grassy ground. Haiden stood at the same spot he had been before, but this time he did not have a single scratch on him. His partner Kakuzu was not shirtless, but his appearance had changed a lot. He did not look human anymore. His whole body was connected by something that looked like wire or thread. The thread stuck out from his mouth and other body parts. I'm going to kill him, Haiden said, swinging his red triple-bladed scythe above his head with a maniacal laugh. This is my kill, Kakuzu said in his stern voice, don't get in my way. Meanwhile, Naruto was gathering Kurama's chakra and soon had red-orange chakra surrounding him with one tail. Naruto had a crazy expression as he smiled at them, then yelled, let's make it a beautiful death, and charged right at Haiden, swinging his sword at him repeatedly while Haiden blocked with his scythe. The 4 shadow-looking creatures attacked them with water, fire, lightning and wind attacks, which they dodged as they kept trying to hit each other with their weapons. This went on for another 20 minutes before Naruto gained the memories from the clone that was carrying Yujito. The clone had brought her close to the border between the land of hot water and land of frost. Naruto had once again unknowingly healed Yujito enough that she could travel the rest by herself without problem. All Naruto had to do now was to stall these two enough to give Yujito the time to get to the land of lightning. After jumping high up the air to dodge a fire attack coming from one of the shadows, and then a replacement technique to dodge a lightning attack from another, Naruto bit his thumb. Kuchiyos no Jutsu, Naruto said, and after that summoned 2 huge toads, which was Gamabunta and Gamaken. I need your help, guys, Naruto said, standing above Gamaken. I will do my best, but I might screw up. I am a bit ungraceful, Gamaken said. Gamabunta scowled more than usual. You will have to buy me tons of sake for this, brat. Sure thing, boss, Naruto agreed quickly while thinking, if I am able. Gamabunta and Gamaken got to work right away as they focused on the 4 shadow creatures, giving Naruto the chance to put his focus on Haiden and Kakuzu. I'm going to kill him, Kakuzu said, having had enough of Naruto's stalling. No, he is mine, Haiden immediately fought back. Not only is he in Jinchuriki, he is also that half-assed wannabe bounty hunter I hate. This is my kill, Kakuzu growled. Let's see who kills him first then, Haiden taunted. Naruto grinned with a sick smile. He had accepted that he was going to die, but at least he had completed the mission he was ordered to do and kept his squad safe. But his real mission was to save Yujito. Call him a chivalrous bastard, he just couldn't leave that girl with these guys. Naruto's features started changing as his teeth and nails grew, and his whiskers darkened as the second chakra tail formed behind him. Naruto charged right at Kakuzu with high speed and did a 2-handed slam of his sword into Kakuzu's shoulder with the goal of cutting Kakuzu into 2. Daishinken, Great Dragon Shot. Kakuzu had hardened himself with the stone technique and blocked the whole attack except for the shock wave that it had caused. The ground around them had split from the shock wave, but even so Kakuzu stood there smirking without having taken any damage at all. Wasting no time, Haiden charged at Naruto once again, giving him no other option than keep dodging his constant scythe attacks. Gamaken and Gamabunta had attempted and succeeded in hitting the shadowy creatures many times now, but every time it would appear as if they took no damage and get right back into attacking them. The shadowy creatures had also attacked them in return, and the toads, actually being living things that are not immortal with one weak point, had taken damage and could not keep this up for too much longer. After Kakuzu had hardened his whole right arm and slammed Naruto down into the ground with a powerful punch, Haiden had kicked him in his jaw and sent him flying up the air. The shadowy creatures with lightning and fire attacks had attacked him at the same time as he was mid-air. After that, Naruto had started giving up and 5 more tails quickly formed around him and his whole appearance changed. He now looked more like a mini version of the Kyuubi than himself. That was the time Gamabunta and Gamaken decided to take their leave. Once they got back, they quickly sent word to Konoha via messenger toad to tell them what was going on. Meanwhile in Konoha, Hokage office. Are they ever going to stop? Hiruzen thought with a big sigh as he looked over the ninjas arguing in his office. One was Jiraiya, who wanted Naruto to become his apprentice. The other was Kakashi, who wanted to kick Sasuke out of his team and have Naruto replace him. These two kept fighting about this and had knocked each other out several times already and not left the Hokage office for a few days. The third person was Sarutobi Asuma, who had told them that he was happy about his team, but demanded the fourth person to reconsider her request. The fourth person was Yuhi Kurenai, who had demanded that the teams needed to change. She had thought it was unfair that Kakashi had gotten the genius Uchiha Sasuke as well as Uzumaki Taiya, who she wanted for her squad. But the biggest reason was now Kakashi even wanted Naruto on his team, and that was the breaking point. Naruto would be on her team, or no team at all. Enough, Jiraiya-sama, you will take Sasuke and I will have Naruto on my team, Kakashi yelled. Who the fuck is Sasuke, you disrespectful little brat? Jiraiya yelled back. Kurenai, please reconsider. I don't think anything good would come out of a roster change, Asuma pleaded. Shut up, Asuma, Kurenai answered with a tick mark formed above her eye. I'm getting too old for this shit, Hiruzen thought with a sigh, looking out of the window. Now where is that pipe I ordered? Back with Naruto, who had entered his mindscape. Good, keep going, give in to your anger, Kurama cheered as Naruto walked closer to the cage and the seal. Rip the seal apart, and let me take care of those two outside, Kurama said with a grin as Naruto was finally going to let him free. Naruto, no longer caring about anything, did as he was told, rip the seal apart. The next thing Naruto expected to happen was the fox jumping out of the seal and kill him, but instead he felt a hand on his shoulder, and he looked up to see his father staring down at him. Minato had restored the seal as he smiled at Naruto and was about to speak when Kurama yelled. Get in here so I can rip you to shreds, Minato. Always so unpleasant, Minato said, then turned to Naruto. Let's go somewhere we can talk. After he said that, the background changed and Kurama was no longer there. Dad? Naruto asked, still not really understanding what was going on. Minato nodded with a smile. Yes, Naruto? Where the fuck did you come from? Minato laughed and let Naruto punch him in the stomach. Ouch, he held his stomach as he explained, I sealed some of my chakra inside you after I sealed the Kyuubi so I could explain a few things. Get to it then, Naruto ordered. Minato's sweat dropped. What a loving son I have. There was someone that was behind that attack 13 years ago controlling the Kyuubi. Minato began telling the story of how the masked Uchiha had attacked them 13 years ago. He told him what he knew about his appearance and techniques. I promise, Oyaji, I will defeat this Uchiha and avenge you and Mom. Minato smiled at that, then said, come here for a second, and Naruto did just that, and when he was close enough, Minato put his hand on Naruto's head. Outside Naruto's mindscape. The fox chakra disappeared and Naruto's body turned back to normal with his clothes damaged and his skin looking burned everywhere. There is something different about him, Kakuza said as he had noticed a change in chakra. Be on guard. Seriously, Kakuza, stop worrying about that brat already. Haiden yelled, let's just take him out for good. Then ran at Naruto. Minato had taken charge over Naruto's body, and he smiled a little as he used Hiraishin to get in front of Haiden and smash a Rasengan into his gut, which sent him flying away. I will call that the Father-Son Flying Thunder God Super Rasengan technique, Minato chuckled, staring at Haiden, who kept flying. Naruto, who was able to witness the whole thing, thought, badass. I need to learn that. What are you? Kakuza asked in a serious tone. Sorry, I don't have time to talk, Minato said and focused. Good, it's still there, he thought, and used Hiraishin once again, but this time he teleported a way longer distance. Killer Bee thought this was the perfect day for some relaxation as he wrote some new lyrics for his rap songs. What he did not expect was for a younger Namikaze Minato lookalike who was also the Kyuubi Jinchuriki to fly into his home right at him. Minato was no longer in control of Naruto's body, and instead Naruto had passed out from exhaustion. Inside Naruto's mindscape. Wow, you're badass, Naruto complimented his father. Minato scratched his head and smiled thanks, then his face changed into a serious expression. Now Naruto, you and I need to talk about something important. 5 minutes later. I'm out of time. Always remember that no matter what you do, me and your mother will always love you and be proud of you, Minato said, hugging Naruto, who told him to get off. What Minato had told him was that he should always be nice to girls and treat them with respect. He also told him that he should try to get one girlfriend who he liked very much instead of several. This did not make sense to Naruto since it was the opposite to what he had learned by being around Jiraiya and other guys. The one with the most girls was the biggest badass, right? Ero-sennin must be right. Dad was a genius when it came to being a ninja but an idiot when it came to women, Naruto thought before he fell asleep. 3 days had passed since Naruto fought against the Akatsuki and gave Yujito enough time to return home to Kumo. Naruto's squad had immediately reported to the Hokage after returning to Konoha about Naruto staying behind to fight against S-rank criminals. Hiruzen had told them to not utter a word to anyone that Naruto was missing. He had also ordered the strongest Konoha had to offer to look for him. They were Kakashi, Guy and Tenzo Yamato. An Umbu had been sent to tell Jiraiya about the search, which he also joined. So where was Naruto? He was currently sleeping in a bed in a house in the middle of nowhere, same as he had done for the last 3 days. He had been teleported to B's location via Minato's Hiraishin. B had then let him rest. The only reason B had not taken Naruto to a doctor was because when B enjoyed some sake during the evenings, Naruto would join him in his sleep, taking his sake bowl from him and chug it until it was empty and then throw it on the wall before going back to bed. There was one difference this morning, however, as Naruto was no longer alone in the small room where B had let him sleep. There was a blonde girl sitting on a chair beside the bed staring at him. Meanwhile, B had gotten a visitor, which was another blonde girl. B's visitor at the door was Yujito, who begged B to help her find her savior, who was actually sleeping in B's guest room. B had told her earlier that she should forget about that so-called savior and instead focus on getting stronger so they can begin training her and controlling her Jinchuriki powers. While B and Yujito argued at the door, Naruto had woken up and put the tip of his sword on Samui's neck after she had decided to lean over and take a closer look at Naruto's face. Naruto had asked who she was in a threatening voice, and Samui just smiled and said, "You are cool enough." Cool enough for what? Naruto asked her, raising an eyebrow and still pointing his sword at her. To be my husband, Samui said, and lifted the tip of the sword away from her, and then jumped into the bed and laid behind Naruto. Let's snuggle. Now if anyone saw this they would be very surprised, since Samui was someone who never had a crush on anyone, and never gave any guy a moment of her time. Naruto, however, was terrified. He had read about this marriage thing. There was nothing good written about it. Be together with one woman for the rest of his life? That is the kind of nonsense his father was spouting. Get the fuck away from me, Naruto yelled after jumping out of the bed. Yujito and B heard his yell and both ran into the room, B because Naruto had finally woken up and Yujito because she was afraid that Samui had been caught. Samui was to sneak into B's home and find any scrolls or books on how to control Jinchuriki powers or scrolls with a lot of strong jutsu. Once they got into the room, they both got shocked enough for their jaws to drop as Naruto stood with his eyebrows twitching, with Samui hugging his arm to herself. Who are these people? Naruto thought as he saw them. Ah, sorry Yujito, I failed the mission, Samui said with a big smile, hugging Naruto's arm tighter. Yujito looked at B with an angry expression. He has been here the whole time, B-sensei? What are you saying, little knee? That is a new face to Mr. B. Oh yeah. Get off me, Naruto said and threw Samui so she landed on the bed. He then did a one-handed hand sign and held his sword with his other hand. Who are you people and what do you want with me? Naruto asked. Relax, Lil Nine, everything's gonna be just fine, B said and gave him the nice guy pose. Naruto narrowed his eyes at B. You know way too much, you must be annihilated. Yujito looked at B with pleading expression. B-sensei? She did not want her savior to be hurt. Beside Ragata asked Namkaze. He said and shook his head. I'm a Jinchuriki as well, and the one that has taken care of you for 3 days after you crashed into my home. I see, Naruto said and sheathed his sword. He then walked over to B and held out his hand. You have my thanks, Mr. Bean. Ain't no tang, B said and shook his hand. Naruto stared at Yujito for a moment. Had he seen her before? What was her name again? Hello? Yujito said, having had enough of his staring and gained a small blush as it was starting to get embarrassing. Samui on the other hand was getting jealous. Yujito must stay away from her man. As Samui snuck next to Naruto and hugged his arm again, Naruto looked really concentrated. Did we meet? He asked. He laughed loudly. On nigga, you gone fucked up. This caught Naruto's attention. Speak sense, he demanded. Get the fuck away from here before you get caught up into something that even I can't save you from, Kurama warned him with what sounded like a scared voice. Yujito looked a little sad after hearing that. He did not remember her, but what annoyed her was Samui and how she was acting. Samui never showed any interest in any guy, and Yujito knew about it since they were best friends. Did she have to start showing interest to the only guy Yujito herself was interested in? Samui, can you get off him? Yujito said with a sweet smile. I got things to do, B said and ran out of the room. Are you jealous? Samui said teasingly, not cool. This is fun and all, Naruto said, throwing Samui onto the bed again, but I have to leave. Naruto began walking out of the room and heading towards the front door of the house. Yujito ran after him and said, wait. Naruto turned around and she said, thanks for saving me, and gave him a hug. No problem, Naruto said, confused. What the hell was going on? Yujito turned around as she was going to walk back to the guest room and start the argument with Samui, and that was when Naruto saw her back and more importantly her ass and legs. Ah, you're that girl, Naruto said with a big smile. He had carried her over his shoulder, and because of that her legs and ass was pretty much all he could see, and that is how he remembered her. So now you remember? Yujito asked. Yeah, good thing everything worked out. Anyway, see ya, Naruto said, and did a shunshin to get away from there before he got caught up in that terrible thing that the fox warned him about. One of the first things Naruto did after gaining a bit of distance from the land of lighting was to send a messenger toad to Hiruzen saying that he went fishing and was not going to return anytime soon. Naruto did just that for the next week and drank a lot of booze. He played pirate for a while, and when he got bored of that he started training. After training for another 2 weeks he decided to return to Konoha. After a week of searching for Konoha and the third time he walked past this mountain area in some kind of desert, Naruto had realized he had a problem. Naruto had never stopped drinking, so he was constantly drunk. Kuchio's no jutsu. Naruto summoned his drinking buddy Gamaken and told him to take him to Konoha in exchange for sake. One day later Naruto walked into the Hokage's office. I'm here to request some changes to the newly formed Genin teams, Hokage-sama. We have discussed this already, Hiruzen said with a sigh. He noticed that something was off about Naruto. Yes, so you will put me on Kurenai-chan's squad and also make a rule concerning me. Hiruzen had already figured out what was going on, but he wanted to find out what the rule was. What rule? Whenever I disrespect my elders or do anything not fitting for someone my age, I need to be punished by Kurenai-chan. Kai, Hiruzen said, and released the genjutsu that Kurenai had put on him, a simple one that she had used several times already to get Hiruzen to change his mind about the squads. You need to stop that, Kurenai, Hiruzen said, sounding like he scolded a kid. Kurenai pouted, but come on. I'm done fishing, old monkey, Naruto yelled as he stormed into the office. Hiruzen quickly noticed what was off about Naruto in the genjutsu. This Naruto was drunk. Hello, Naruto-kun, Kurenai, who sat in a chair in front of Hiruzen's desk, said with a wave. Naruto mumbled something and sat down next to her with a pout. Got any booze, old man? Before Kurenai could scold Naruto about his drinking, Hiruzen told her to leave them as they needed to talk in private. On her way out of the office she heard. So what happened? Not much really, monkey. I just caught 2 fishes that was too much for me to handle. Naruto had told Hiruzen what had happened during the fight with Akatsuki and afterwards. Naruto had however left out a lot of details that he refused to tell Hiruzen, such as the girl he saved being a Jinchuriki from Kumo, and how he escaped and where he escaped to. Hiruzen was not buying all of it, but he would let it go for now. Now it was time for Hiruzen to finally tell Naruto about his newly formed team. So I found you a third member for your team, Hiruzen began as they had moved on from talking about the encounter with Akatsuki. Okay, good. Anyone I know? I doubt it. Her name is Hyuga Hanabi and the younger sister of Hyuga Hinata. She's 11 and the best student of that age group, similar to your other teammate, and Hanabi is older than in the manga in this story. Wanted to use her for the third teammate instead of Sai, who I thought of at first. I see, Naruto said, uninterested. And our sensei? Yes, Hiruzen said, and gave Naruto a file. This will be your sensei. Naruto read the name out loudly, Meatball Dango. Hiruzen laughed at that. It's Mitarashi Anko. Naruto looked at the picture attached, and then put the file on Hiruzen's desk and stood up with a snort. Are you some kind of feminist? They were the most suited for this team. Gender does not matter, Hiruzen explained with a sigh. You know, Naruto began as he was starting to walk out of the office, I'm really starting to regret my decision to stay in this village. Well then, before you leave let me show you something, Hiruzen said, and grabbed a letter as Naruto turned around and listened. This is a letter from the Raikage demanding to know why one of his kunoichis is ordering him to arrange for an arranged marriage between herself and one Senju. Naruto's eyes widened. I know nothing, he screamed, and decided to not take the door as he once again jumped through a window and destroyed it as he did so. Be in my office at 9 tomorrow morning, Hiruzen yelled out the window. Naruto was now heading towards the place he pretty much visited daily when he was in Konoha, which was Ichiraku Ramen. Part of the deal of Naruto being in a team together with an Uchiha, and not killing them off when he was bored, was that he could buy alcoholic beverages again. This time when he arrived at the stand, both Ayam and Tucci was working for the first time since he had gotten back. "Yo, old man Ayamne, get me 15 bowls of beef ramen and 10 beers." Tucci accepted the order and got to work while Ayam began scolding Naruto about his drinking. Just as Naruto began eating when he had received his first bowl, Tayuya and Ino, who were walking together, walked past the stand and immediately noticed Naruto. They looked at each other and nodded before running into the ramen stand and sitting next to Naruto, Tayuya to his right and Ino to his left. Tayuya and Ino was trying to get his attention by staring at him and nudging him, but Naruto just kept eating while looking at Ayam, who was still talking. "You need to stop eating so much ramen. We appreciate that you buy so much, but you need to eat more healthy food," Ayam continued on like that as Naruto half listened while downing a beer. "Do you serve whiskey here?" "No/yes, Ayam and Tucci answered at the same time. As Naruto began eating his 10th bowl of ramen and had already drank all of his beer, Tayuya and Ino was starting to lose the patience and showed it. Tayuya mostly as she jumped into Naruto's lap and stared at him. Naruto lifted the bowl over her head and continued to eat as Ayam had stopped talking due to her being a bit surprised by Tayuya's actions and a bit jealous. Ino, on the other hand, was furious that she had not thought of doing that herself before Tayuya. "Hello, shithead," Tayuya yelled. Naruto said, taking his face out of the bowl, and took a peek on who the person was that sat on his lap before quickly going back to eating. Normally Naruto would have told her to get the fuck off him, but he was kind of enjoying this. Another minute or so later, Naruto had ate all of what he ordered and was about to leave. He lifted Tayuya off of him and began walking away after paying "Great job as always, old man, I'll be back tomorrow." "Yeah, thanks, Naruto," Tucci shouted with a wave. Naruto walked down the road and then quickly took a turn to the left with Tayuya and Ino following him. As soon as he had turned left, he turned around and looked at them. "So what do you two want?" "I have already told you I want some answers about who the fuck you are," Tayuya answered. "I wanted to ask if you maybe wanted to do something sometime, maybe train together?" Ino said, smiling. Naruto sighed. "I should have ordered more beers. Or maybe a sake bottle to go," he thought before saying, "Alright, follow me." Naruto led them to the training grounds he had used before going on the recent C-ranked mission. He sat down and the girls did the same. "I am Uzumaki Namake's Naruto, also known as Senju," Naruto said, looking at Tayuya since he had already told Ino this. The Namake's name was new to Tayuya and her facial expression showed her surprise. "My dad was Namake's Minato and my mother was Uzumaki Kushina. Both of them are dead," Naruto continued while Tayuya listened and waited for him to continue, but after a minute Naruto just said, "That is who the fuck I am." Tayuya's sweat dropped at that while Naruto focused on Ino. "I am going to train now, you are free to join me." "Great. So what kind of training?" "I am practicing a new one-sword style assassinate technique, you can be the practice target." Ino looked terrified. "Seriously?" she asked. Naruto laughed. "No, seriously though, just do what you usually do and maybe I can help you if I see something you can improve on." "Okay, sounds good," Ino said, smiling at Naruto before doing some stretches. Tayuya wanted to know more about Naruto and demanded to know things such as where he has been for the last 3 years, are they family? How does he know Erosenin, and on and on. Naruto just told her, "I will tell you another time, for now how about you join us?" Tayuya agreed since this was a good opportunity to get some extra training with some help, especially since Kakashi rarely trained them. Naruto just did what he always did, first practicing some new sword techniques, then began a spar with Gamahiro, both of them taking small breaks to empty a sake bottle during the spar. Ino and Tayuya spent pretty much the whole time dodging them as they jumped and ran around the whole training ground. The day ended with Gamahiro knocking out Naruto once again and Tayuya and Ino having to carry him back to his home. Since they did not have the keys, they figured they would let him sleep on Tayuya's couch since they were neighbors. Ino decided that she would sleep over as well since she didn't want Tayuya to be alone with her Naruto, which Tayuya kindly answered back to with a "fuck you," but nonetheless let her stay in her room. The next day Tayuya was woken up by someone knocking on the window to her bedroom from outside. Kakashi was outside reading his Aika as Tayuya opened the window. "Kakashi-sensei? What the fuck are you doing here this early?" she asked with a yawn since it was still very early, around 6 in the morning. Kakashi smiled. "I have gotten us another C-ranked mission since you guys have complained so much about the D-ranked ones. We leave soon, meet me at the southern gate in 20 minutes. "Hi," Tayuya said and closed the window in Kakashi's face. Tayuya quickly dressed herself, then got something to eat before packing everything she would need on the mission. As she was running around her apartment, she suddenly halted as she saw the couch where Naruto was sleeping, the reason for that being that Ino was sleeping on it as well. Ino, like last time, had snuck into Naruto's bed and hugged him in her sleep. She was not aware that she was doing it since she was sleepwalking. Normally Naruto is on alert even in his sleep and would not let anything get close to him, but for some reason that does not apply to Ino. Tayuya was well aware of Ino's love interest having changed from Sasuke to Naruto since she pretty much let everyone know about it and made no effort to hide it around Naruto either. But she was not okay with it. This was the first time she had found anyone that was interesting in Konoha since she came here, so there was only one thing to do now. Tayuya ran to the kitchen and filled up a bucket with water and then ran back to the couch and threw the water over them, at least one of them. Naruto had jumped and was now standing on the ceiling upside down, channeling chakra to keep him from falling. He was laughing at Ino's expense. Ino, however, was not as cheerful. She was pissed off and glaring at Tayuya. "Why did you do that, bitch?" Ino yelled. "We had an agreement," Tayuya responded, and was silent for a second before adding, Tayuya looked at her watch, and her eyes widened. "I have to go on a mission. You two get the fuck out of my apartment as soon as possible," she said, and left to meet her team. Naruto, still on the ceiling, shook his head and looked at Ino. "Looks like Tayuya made you wet," he said, and did a hand sign before using a shunshin to get to his own apartment next door. Ino was red-faced from both anger and embarrassment, and vowed that she would get Tayuya back for this, Naruto as well for the last comment. Naruto had spent the next 3 hours sleeping on top of the Hokage Tower since he would be meeting his new team here at 9 anyway. Enko, Midori and Hanabi arrived at Hiruzen's office a few minutes before 9. Hiruzen decided to take them up to the top of the tower since he knew Naruto was sleeping there. And like expected, at the edge of the tower, almost falling off, was Naruto sleeping, but they did not expect to see two toads that looked to be guarding him. Both were small young toads, one orange with purple markings around his eyes, the other was yellow with orange marking around his eyes. Both wore blue vests. They were Gamakichi and Gamatatsu, Naruto's personal bodyguards and scouts. "Intruders!" Gamakichi yelled and jumped high up in the air. "Give him the booze!" Gamatatsu screamed with panic. "I'm on it!" Gamakichi yelled, then threw a sake bottle towards Naruto, who caught it with one hand and took a sip. Naruto sighed loudly after enjoying his sip of sake and said, "This is the second time today that I have been woken up in an unpleasant way." Hiruzen ignored Naruto for the moment and focused on the others. "For those of you who haven't met him already, this is your final teammate, Uzumaki Naruto." "Hi, Hokage-sama," Hanabi said with a serious expression as she stared at Naruto. Enko laughed, watching Naruto. "He is a bit odd, isn't he?" she asked Hiruzen, who just shook his head and thought, "You are one to talk." Gamakichi and Gamatatsu disappeared in a puff of smoke at the same time as Midori ran up to Naruto and smiled as she greeted him. "Naruto Taishu, I'm glad you are okay." Naruto scratched the back of his head and said, "Thanks, Midojo." Midori got a tick mark above her eye as she corrected him. "It's Midori, just Midori." She hated that Naruto called her Ojo as if she was some kind of princess from a royal family, and that he forgot hers and everyone's name. "Well, good luck with your team," Hiruzen said, and disappeared quickly before Enko could complain and tried to change his mind. Enko's sweat dropped at Hiruzen's actions before walking towards Naruto and Midori, with Hanabi following after her. "Okay team, let's have a seat and introduce ourselves," Enko said as she sat down, and Midori and Hanabi did the same, taking one side each next to Naruto so they faced Enko. "So this is Dango and Higamuro, and Imuto, little sister, I think." No one talked and Naruto was even drinking his sake bottle again, so Enko decided to go first. "I will go first. I'm Midarashi Enko, also known as Konoha's most sexy and dangerous jounin." As she said that, Naruto looked up from his sake bottle and paid attention, "That is all." "Wait a minute," Naruto said. "Who are the one that decides that?" "Decides what?" Enko asked. "Which jounin is the sexiest and most dangerous? I demand to know how you got that title," Naruto said with a serious face. Enko's sweat dropped. "I decided it." "Oh?" Naruto said with a raised eyebrow. "So you were lying then? I don't think you are fit to be a leader if you are a liar." "Lying?" Enko asked with a smile, then pressed her tits together to show more of them, trying to get a reaction out of Naruto. Naruto, however, just pointed a finger at her and said, "Your tits got nothing on Senju." "Huh?" was Enko's confused response. Naruto stood up and walked up to Enko and poked her left boob with the same finger he was pointing with before. "I said your tits got nothing on Senju Tsunade ones." Poor Midori and Hanabi never got a chance to introduce themselves because Enko spent the rest of the day chasing Naruto, trying to castrate him, and Naruto was just laughing and dodging her until she gave up. The next day, Naruto had once again called for his bodyguards to guard him while he slept in his apartment, this time just in case Enko decided to attack him once again. When Naruto woke up, he heard a knock on his door and feared for the worst. He was happy to find that woman with the nice ass that had brought him to the Hokage Tower the first time he got back to Konoha. She told him that he was needed for a mission and should go to the Hokage Tower immediately. Naruto's happiness disappeared quickly once he arrived at Hiruzen's office because he was once again going to go on a mission with a temporary team. This time his squad leader was Uchiha Mikoto and his teammates Mitarashi Anko and Yuhi Kurenai. Something had gone very wrong for Team 7 during their latest C-ranked mission. Kakashi had been cut by a very skilled enemy and was in no shape to continue the mission. Sakura had been captured by that very same enemy who seemed to be working alone. This team's mission was to save Haruno Sakura and labeled an A rank. Senju Itama was not a man that was as skilled in ninjutsu such as his older brother Hashirama or a strategic genius like Tobirama. What Itama was good at was deceiving others and two less important skills for a ninja, womanizing and drinking. Itama had created a jutsu that would create a dead clone of himself that he managed to deceive his brothers and his father, faking his own death. It was his way to get out of the war with the Uchiha clan and escape an early death. His hatred for the Uchiha clan remained, however. As time passed, his brothers moved on to become the first and second Hokage of the village that Hashirama and Madara created, Konoha. Itama kept away from ninja matters and pretty much spent his whole life doing one thing, partying. One day during the time Tobirama was in charge of the village, Itama met with someone who he had no idea who she was at the time. She was Senju Tsunade, the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. She also happened to be Hashirama's granddaughter. The way they met was just in a bar where Tsunade and her teammates Jiraiya and Orochimaru was drinking and relaxing. Itama talked to her for a while and then never saw her again. Tsunade was given a title from Itama that he later told Naruto about. She was the winning prize of the Senju, Naruto's goal. Itama knew that there would be problems with Naruto being almost 40 years younger, but Itama was a crafty man and had created another jutsu that would solve that. The day before Itama died, he transferred almost all of his chakra to Naruto in a way that he would keep it forever as a third chakra reserve. This was the reason for Naruto sometimes healing others just by touching them. After Hiruzen had told the squad the mission details, they had immediately left towards the direction of Takigakure. Team 7's original mission was to deliver a message to the leader of Takigakure, but they were attacked before they had reached their destination. Naruto was in a bad mood and did not say a word during the whole trip there. There were many reasons for that, but mainly it was due to his teammates. His squad leader was an Uchiha, and not just any Uchiha, she was the mother of the other Uchihas. His teammates were the devil, Kurenai, who spent the whole trip trying to start a conversation with him. The third teammate was his Jounin sensei who he pissed off yesterday, and she would most likely get payback at first chance. Her expression showed that as she smiled in a sick way and kept licking on a kunai with her crazy long tongue. They arrived at the place where 3 of the 4 members of Team 7 had taken a rest due to Kakashi's injuries. Kakashi had been stabbed in his right shoulder with a katana, almost cutting it in half. "Mom," Sasuke said in surprise when he saw them arriving. "Finally, took you long enough," Fuckers Tayuya said with relief at seeing the backup arriving, but she was also a bit surprised at seeing Naruto with them. "Where is Kakashi?" Mikoto asked, and Tayuya pointed to a large tree that Kakashi rested his back on. Mikoto, who had become something of a medical ninja in recent years, rushed to Kakashi's side and started treating him. Naruto walked past Tayuya and Sasuke after greeting them. Tayuya, Uchiha runt. Then walked towards Kakashi and sat down next to him and Mikoto watching her treat him. Naruto focused on Kakashi's wound and then asked, "Can you tell me something about the one that did this?" Kakashi was still well enough to be awake and speak, so he told Naruto and the others what he remembered. The attacker was a young woman with long red hair, maybe 2 or 3 years older than Naruto. She had turned up in front of them out of nowhere and kissed Kakashi, who saw no reason to stop it. During the kiss, Kakashi soon noticed that she was somehow sucking out all of his chakra, and soon after that she had cut him with a katana in his shoulder and then knocked out his students before leaving with Sakura. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he heard that red hair katana. He repeated what Kakashi said. "Are you sure it was a woman?" Kakashi nodded. "That's for sure." Naruto looked at the ground as he spoke. "It almost sounded like you described someone I worked with for a while in the past. Only difference being that the one I worked with was a guy." "I see," Kakashi said before coughing up some blood. "Don't talk anymore for a while," Mikoto said as she kept healing him with a medical jutsu. "Just one last question," Naruto said as he moved closer and put his hand near Kakashi's wound, almost looking as if he was inspecting it. "Did you catch the name of the sword technique?" As soon as Kakashi spoke the word Daishinkan, 2 things happened immediately. The wound healed at an impossible fast rate until it was completely healed, and Naruto had disappeared. Naruto had channeled a lot of chakra as soon as he heard the name of the sword technique. It was his own technique, Daishinkan, Great Dragon Shot, and he had unknowingly healed Kakashi at the same time as he had used a Shunshin to leave. Naruto summoned an army of small toads and an even bigger army of shadow clones to scout the area and find the attacker and kidnapper. It seemed like even though it had been around 5 hours since Sakura was taken, the attacker had not gotten very far away from where Kakashi and the others was since one of Naruto's toads found Sakura's location in 40 minutes. 10 minutes later, when Naruto finally got there, he heard a voice that he recognized. It's been a while. Senju, a woman with long red hair just as Kakashi described her, was standing outside of a small house where she was most likely holding Sakura. She wore a white kimono with pink markings on it. I don't think we have met, Naruto said as he walked towards her with one hand reaching for his sword. That's rude, the woman said and pouted. It's me, Fuka. Naruto stopped moving and his jaw dropped to the ground and he pointed at her. Wa. But you're a? You used to be guy. What's going on, Databeo? What did you say? Fuka yelled with a red face. I have always been a girl, you idiot. Oh, Naruto said, recovering from the surprise from earlier. So you have tricked me? He said and smiled in a sick way. Fuka used to be wearing clothes that guys usually wore. She also always covered her hair with something such as a hat or a hood. Naruto, who probably would not have seen the difference anyway, always thought Fuka was a guy. I admit that I might have changed a little bit, but I have never given you reason to believe that I was a man, Fuka said, and she was starting to lose her patience. Okay then, Naruto said and pointed at her chest. You grew a lot, I see. You used to be flat as a board, even more flat than the pink-haired girl you have kidnapped. That is why I thought you were a guy, a natural mistake. Hey! Sakura yelled from inside the house. Shit, she heard me, Naruto mumbled. Oh well, Fuka said and picked up a katana that was leaning against the wall of the house. I was wondering if I should let you go considering our past, but now I have changed my mind. Naruto and Fuka were not close friends or something like that. They had done a few jobs together in the past. Most of the jobs were bounty hunter jobs. The reason they stopped doing jobs together was due to how Fuka had changed as time went on. She started taking on jobs that Naruto would never accept doing, such as killing or capturing civilians or ninjas that were not criminals. So Naruto decided to stay away from Fuka and hope that they would never meet again. Can I ask one thing before we start? Naruto asked as he prepared himself to either get killed or to kill his old friend. Go ahead. Why did you take the girl? Her? Fuka said with her thumb pointing at the house. I am selling her to some slavers, easy money. I see, Naruto said with anger showing from his expression. You have kidnapped one of my comrades and you have also used my own technique on another one. Enough talking, Fuka said and sprinted towards Naruto. I have missed your chakra, she said, yelled with a laugh. Fuka used to be the stronger of the two of them due to her being older than Naruto, but in speed they were pretty evenly matched. That was 2 years ago and Naruto had grown a lot since then. Mostly he had become much taller and gained more body strength. When two swordsmen had the same speed and around the same skill, it was almost always decided by who had the most body strength. Sure, son. Naruto yelled as he almost flew towards Fuka and slashed down with his sword trying to cut her. Fuka had quickly moved out of the way and was now standing behind Naruto and attempted to pierce her katana through his back, but Naruto got away by quickly substituting with a wooden log. Naruto wasted no time to attack as he shot a Sanjiraku Pondo Ho sword slash towards Fuka, who barely managed to dodge it as part of her kimono covering her left arm had been destroyed. A new technique? How naughty, Fuka said and held her left arm. Naruto did not answer. Instead he created 5 shadow clones Ninpo, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Fuka hated it when Naruto would use the few ninjutsu that he knew when they sparred back in the day. Naruto knew about that and had decided to use ninjutsu for a while to anger Fuka and make her lose focus. Naruto held up a regular shuriken and threw it at Fuka. Ninpo, Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He created a massive amount of clones of the shuriken, all flying at high speed in Fuka's direction. Fuka smiled a bit because she realized that she could just get out of the way quickly and let Naruto keep throwing jutsu at her until he runs out of chakra. But that plan was quickly stopped when she saw that Naruto's clones had surrounded her, and she had nowhere to run except straight ahead into the flying shurikens. Ninpo, Katan Enden! Naruto's clones standing behind Fuka shot a large bullet of fire the size of 3 chujis at her. This was one of the new techniques Naruto had learned while training during his fishing trip. Fuka only saw one way to get out of this situation, and it was to use her fastest technique to quickly get over to the real Naruto's position and end the fight immediately. It looked almost as she teleported next to Naruto, but before she even managed to register where she was, she found herself laying on the ground with Naruto's sword pierced through her shoulder, holding her stuck down to the ground. Hee, Naruto chuckled as that smile returned that he always got when he was about to kill someone. Such a shame, he said, and drew the sword out of her body, and then aimed it at her heart. Just as he was about to connect, Fuka disappeared from the ground and now stood next to the house once again, holding her shoulder. I will not forget about this, Fuka said and disappeared once again, but this time she must have teleported further because he could not see her. Naruto could have chased after her but chose not to. The mission was to save Sakura, not kill Fuka, and since Sakura was still in the house, he had completed the mission and redeemed himself from his failure on the last mission. I will never understand women, Naruto mumbled as he walked into the house and saw Sakura sitting on the floor with her hands and legs tied up. Naruto? Sakura said, a bit surprised. Did you defeat her? Naruto nodded and cut the ropes, allowing Sakura to move again. Sakura stood up and hugged Naruto. Thanks, Naruto, she said, and started crying into his chest. Meanwhile, Naruto just stared at the top of her head with his eyebrows twitching. He did not know what else to do. He had never been in this situation before. A minute or so later, Sakura had calmed down a bit, and Naruto told her that they should get back to the others who were probably looking for them. This was something Naruto didn't know how to do. Naruto threw Sakura over his shoulders so that her upper body was hanging out behind him and her legs flying around in front of him, and then ran back to where they met Team 7. You. Naruto said as he was currently jumping from branch to branch in the forest, heading back to the others while carrying Sakura. What is it? A somewhat irritated Sakura answered as she was not exalted about the way Naruto carried her. When we arrive, I want you to do something for me. Okay, what do you want me to do? 20 minutes later, Naruto arrived at the big tree where Kakashi was still resting. The others that was there was gathered around Kakashi with the exception of Ankle, who had headed out looking for Naruto. Naruto put Sakura down on the ground. She then walked up to the others and spoke while trying to change her voice to sound more like Naruto. The mission. She took a long pause is completed. Degozaru. Kakashi sighed a sigh of relief as he saw Sakura was okay. Kurenai was currently glaring at Naruto, and that was making his eyes twitch, as well as the Degozaru comment Sakura added that was totally unnecessary. Good job, Naruto, Mikoto said, walking over to him and putting a hand on his shoulder, but next time, please follow my orders and don't do things on your own, okay? She added with a smile. Sakura then looked a bit uncomfortable before she spoke again with the changed voice. I don't see any reason to stay with you lot. I will take my leave and report to Monkey Degozaru. Naruto stuck out his tongue as he did hand sign and disappeared using a shunshin. What an odd guy he turned out to be, Mikoto spoke to herself before she left the others to find Ankos so they all could return to Konoha. Kurenai, who was now glaring at Sakura instead of Naruto as soon as he was gone, told her you. Yes? Sakura said, a little bit uncomfortable. Don't think it means anything just because he carried you, Kurenai, and then stopped glaring at her before looking back at her, adding HMPF before leaving herself, most likely running after Naruto. The bitch. Taiyu yelled and ran after Kurenai while Sakura just stood there with her jaw dropped thinking what the hell is going on. HN. Stop standing there with your mouth open, Sasuke said to Sakura and pointed to Kakashi. Help me carry him back. Sakura did as she was told but thought Naruto would never let me carry anyone. Wait, what am I thinking? When Mikoto came back with Anko, she asked, where are Kurenai and Taiya? They left, Sasuke answered. Left where? Most likely they went after the idiot. Which idiot? Naruto, I think his name was. I see, Mikoto sighed before looking around and noticed that Anko was now gone, not her too. A few hours later, Hiruzen's office. Hiruzen was relaxing, enjoying a smoke while reading another masterpiece written by his former student Jiraiya while he heard a sound from outside. It sounded almost as if a cannonball had been shot nearby and was flying right at him. Naruto soon flew through his window, destroying it before landing on his feet in front of his desk and running to his trash can and then puked into it. That's ugh. The last time I drink and run. Hiruzen scrunched his nose and said, I take it you finished the mission? It is done, Naruto said and sat down on a chair in front of Hiruzen's desk while the old man himself went back to reading the Ika and refilling his pipe. It took another hour before Hiruzen had noticed that Naruto had fallen asleep in the chair, and another 2 hours before Kurenai, Taiya and Anko arrived at his office. Where are the others? Hiruzen asked as soon as they entered. They will come later since Kakashi can't travel at max speed due to the damage he took, Kurenai answered. I see, why aren't you all traveling together? I returned as soon as I could to hand out some punishment to a genin who has been misbehaving, Kurenai answered once again while Anko nodded yes, same reason for me. What about you, Taiya-chan? Hiruzen asked her. The bitch left so I had to get back so she would not do anything to the shithead, she explained. The shithead? Hiruzen repeated with a confused face before going back to his Ika, you girls may leave. All three of them got a twitch mark above their eyebrows as they saw that book and that he just started reading it in front of them. Kurenai was about to walk up and grab Naruto. I will just take. Leave, Hiruzen commanded before laughing. The shithead is resting. Stingy old man, Tayuya shouted as she ran out of the office with Anko and Kurenai following. Hiruzen sighed once again and was about to go back to the Ika world when he heard Naruto speak in his sleep. Tits. Yes, Hiruzen answered with a laugh. Tsunadeheim, Naruto added a second later, and then snored loudly before falling of the chair. Ha ha! Hiruzen laughed as he slammed his hands on his desk. Hiruzen then summoned Enma and had him carry Naruto back to his apartment so he could sleep in his bed. Mikoto and Team 7, with the exception of Taiya, arrived another hour later and gave their report. Kakashi was taken to the hospital just to be safe, while Sakura was told to go home and get some rest before the team would meet up tomorrow. The next day, Naruto woke up and thought this has to stop as he saw that Taiya was sleeping in his bed. She did not want Ino to have one-up-one her, but little did she know Ino had already slept in the same bed with Naruto twice. After Naruto had done what anyone would in this situation, run out of his apartment in haste, Naruto had been stopped right outside his door by Kurenai and Anko, who stood outside blocking his path. NGH, Naruto exclaimed with his eyebrow twitching. What do you want? Our team are doing some D-ranked missions today, so you need to come with me and meet up with the girls, Anko answered as Taiya, who had woken up from all of the noise, ran out to them only wearing her pajamas. Fucker, where are you going? She yelled. Haha, I think you are my favorite student already, Anko said and laughed before adding, meet me at training grounds 12 in 10 minutes. And then disappeared in the shunshin. Kurenai was red with anger as she pointed at Taiya. What is this? She asked Naruto, who just raised an eyebrow. That is Taiya, my neighbor, Naruto answered as if Kurenai did not know who she was. Fuck you bitch, Taiya said and closed the door, adding, I'm making myself breakfast then meeting up with my team. Yeah, good luck with that, Naruto mumbled since he did not have any food at all. I won't stand for this, Naruto, Kurenai continued and crossed her arms above her chest. Now listen here, woman, Naruto scowling, it is not my fault that all these girls keep showing up in my bed. There are others, Kurenai yelled, and I told you to call me Kurenai-chan. Sure there is, Naruto answered calmly before raising his voice, however I fail to see how that is your problem. It is my bed. Wait a minute, you didn't know about them sleeping there? Kurenai asked. Naruto shook his head. I usually have my trusted companions guarding me while I sleep when I am in some kind of danger, but these girls keep showing up when I am knocked or passed out. I see that is a problem we must address, Kurenai said, nodding her head. Agreed. I have an idea. How about I move in with you and keep them away? Kurenai suggested and added, I can cook food and do the laundry as well in a way to make it sound like a better deal. How does that solve anything? Naruto yelled, then I will be stuck with the devil in my apartment. Naruto-kun, what have I told you about that? Screw you, Naruto said before disappearing in a shunshin heading towards training grounds 12. Right, Kurenai said with a blush. Someday. Naruto had noticed something while he moved away from his apartment. Those two idiots, the fake Uchiha and Erosenin, were hiding nearby, most likely spying on him. Erosenin was even taking notes. Naruto wondered if the monkey had set them up for this. He needs to get some answers soon. When Naruto arrived at training grounds 12, the others was already there. Naruto was known to be a polite and nice gentleman, so he greeted his team, hello, Dango, Uchihojo, Hyugamuto, with a nod to all of them. Hanabi scowled as she slowly walked up to Naruto. You shall address me as Hanabi-chan. Okay, I will make sure to remember that, Naruto said and walked past her, sitting down next to Midori. Morning, Taicho, Midori said in a low voice as she was trying not to laugh at Naruto's comment. May. Well then, now that the playboy has arrived, how about we let the girls introduce themselves since they didn't get the chance last time, Anko suggested, and the others just got confused by the playboy comment, especially Naruto. Hi Hanabi begun, I am Hyuga Hanabi, you may call me Hanabi-sama. Midori said, interrupting her. Except for him you shall address me with A-chan at all times, Hanabi continued, looking at Naruto. I am 11 and graduated 1 year earlier than the Uchiha, so show me the respect I deserve. How humble, Anko said with a smile. Okay, next. Midori was not happy about that comment, as if Hanabi was somehow better than herself. She calmed herself before she began. Ano. My name is Uchiha Midori. I like my family with one exception, and I hope I can be of help to our team. You forgot about something, Naruto said. Right. Ano. I am 12 and I like reading. She began before Naruto interrupted her. No, you're supposed to tell us all to get down on the ground and lick your feet. We are not worthy to even breathe the same air as Midori Ujo. We're peasants. Stop it, Taicho! Midori yelled red-faced from embarrassment. Meanwhile, with Team 7, who was just meeting up for a short meeting where Kakashi would tell them they had the day off due to him having to rest for some more time. When Tayuya, who was the last to arrive, got there, Kakashi closed the Ika Ika book he was reading, and I smiled. Now that everyone is here, I have something important to tell you. All three students got a bit excited and nervous at the same time. Today is a special day, Kakashi continued and giggled. Isn't it, Tayuya-chan? What? Tayuya yelled. What is so fucking special about today? Kakashi had snapped towards her, scaring the shit out of her. It would appear he spoke quickly that one of my students have engaged in nightly activities with someone of the other gender. HN. That crush didn't last long, Sasuke said to Sakura, whose sweat dropped. I have no idea what he is talking about. So what? Tayuya said with a red face. I am not the only one that's been sleeping with him. That whore Ino, and someone named Tsunade has most likely done it as well. Kakashi's feet could not hold him up anymore as fell down on the ground. Minato-sensei, Kakashi said with a tear dropping from his eye, I think your legacy is going to be just fine. Am I the only one that wished we got another Jounin-sensei? Sasuke asked Tayuya and Sakura, pointing a thumb at Kakashi. Kakashi jumped up on his feet. You have today and tomorrow off, dismissed. Kakashi did a hand sign. Just before he left with a shunshin, I smiled and said, Tayuya, make sure to use condoms. What the fuck is a condom, and why would I need it? Tayuya mumbled to herself with her hand to her chin, while Sakura blushed and answered, we learned about that during the academy. It is how guys protect themselves during sex. I didn't need to fucking hear that right now, Tayuya said. Why did you bring that up? Wait a fucking minute, Tayuya yelled as she realized what was going on. I am going to kill that creepy one-eyed scarecrow. And then ran away angry as hell, trying to find Kakashi. Sakura, Sasuke said once they were alone. Yes, Sasuke-kun? HN. Sasuke readied himself for a hard question. Would it make you happy if I told you that you were the most normal on our team? Of course, Sasuke-kun, how sweet of you. Happy enough to leave me alone? No. HN. Sasuke then left the training grounds without any word while Sakura thought back on what she had heard this morning. She was now heading towards Ino to find out who the guy was that both she and her teammate had nightly activities with. Naruto spent the day getting introduced to D-ranked missions. After that, he decided to drink more than he has ever done before and passed out in his bathroom. This time he made sure to summon his bodyguards. One boring week passed where Naruto did more D-ranked missions with his team. For the whole week he was able to sleep normally and had not heard anything from the Toad brothers about any intruders trying to get into his bed. Naruto, as usual, spent the free time after the missions drinking sake and training. Katon, Enden, and Bunshin Daibakuho was two jutsu that Naruto had learned early on in his training. He had also learned Katon, Hosenka no Jutsu, Fire Release, Phoenix Sage Fire Technique, and most recently started practicing on two water techniques, being Mizudepo no Jutsu, Water Pistol Technique, and Suetun, Hahanryu, Water Release, Tearing Torrent. Hiruzen had left the village for a while because he was having a rather important meeting with the Raikage. The genin squads had been told to focus on training and working on their teamwork for the time that their Hokage would be gone instead of doing D-ranked missions handed out by his advisors. Hiruzen left the village yesterday, and the genins had not been told about it yet. When Naruto arrived at Training Grounds 12, the last one to arrive as usual, Enko told them what the Hokage had suggested. Naruto saw no problem with training, but working on their teamwork was something that bugged him. Teamwork? Naruto questioned just after Enko was done explaining the situation. Define teamwork, he continued. Well, how you three can work together to finish the task you have been given, this should be obvious, Enko answered. Okay, I think I get it, Naruto said, then turned to Midori and Hanabi Ujo. Imuro-san, I need you two to practice your shunshin. Hi Taicho, Midori answered while Hanabi just responded with a TCH. Due to Naruto adding san after instead of chan. What for? Midori asked. If we ever get into a battle with enemy ninjas, I need you two too. Naruto said slowly, and both of the girls and Enko listened intently. Get out of there as quickly as possible so you won't be in my way as I dispose of the enemy. Midori and Hanabi fell back on their bums in surprise after hearing that, while Enko just laughed. Okay then, Hanabi-chan and Midori-chan, you two come with me and we will begin going over some strategies we can use during missions. Hi, they both answered. Naruto, since you won't cooperate, I have found something else you can do for today, Enko said and gained a huge grin. Go to Training Ground 8 and report to the Jounin Sensei of Team 8. Yes ma'am, Naruto said and walked straight ahead. It's that way, Anko yelled and pointed to her right, and Naruto turned and walked to Anko's left instead the other way. God damn it. It took 4 hours for Naruto to find Training Ground 10, which was only 1 kilometer away from Training Grounds 12. Once he got there, he saw something that amused him. It was a girl with rather short blue hair with the same eyes as his teammate. She also turned red immediately as he got there, the same way that Midori does when she is embarrassed. Hyuga Hinata was using her Byakugan to scout the forest around the grassy field that she stood on, trying to locate Kiba and Shino when she saw her crush coming her way. Yo Hanabi-chan, I am here to report to the Jounin sensei of Team 8, Naruto said, and then got a bit confused since Hinata seemed to have fainted as soon as he spoke. Naruto also had that feeling that he had met this girl before, but he just could not remember when. Dadabayo? Naruto said as he poked Hinata on her back with the back of his sword, trying to wake her up. Kiba had decided to stop hiding and return to see what was up with Hinata since she was slower than usual in finding them. What the fuck, Naruto? What did you do to Hinata? Kiba yelled once he saw Naruto sitting next to Hinata, still poking her with his sword. She died, Naruto said slowly. Naruto, Kiba said with a glare, but stopped when Hinata had moved closer to Naruto in her sleep and hugged the arm that he used to poke her with the sword. Kiba's sweat dropped and asked, did she fall asleep? Greetings, Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto heard a low voice say, and he looked around the area trying to find the source of it. Standing right in front of him, leaning on a tree, was Shino with his regular outfit. Yo, Naruto said as he saw him, then focused on Kiba. You know where I can find the sensei of Team 8? Yeah, sure, but first I want to know what happened to Hinata. I arrived here. Then she fell to the ground, Naruto said, taking a long time between words. Come on, who would believe that? What did you do? Just after Kiba asked that, Hinata opened her eyes and said with a big smile, I had a wonderful dream. Arara? Naruto leaned down and put his face right in front of hers. Care to tell? They could literally see her face going from pale to red within seconds as Hinata fainted once again. See, what did I tell you? Naruto said, jumping back, resheathing his sword. If your sensei is not around, then I am done here. As she fainted? Kiba stammered comically. That is odd, but it has happened before, Shino reminded Kiba. That's because 3 years ago. Kiba ignored Shino when he explained that the last time Hinata had fainted was when she was sitting next to Naruto in class over 3 years ago. Instead of listening, Kiba told Naruto she should be around here somewhere. Your sensei should know that I don't like when people waste my time. Naruto was losing his patience. He had more important things to do. Listen, guys, there is. What now, Shino? Kiba yelled. Kurenai-sensei is here. That's because there is a tree behind Naruto, Shino said, pointing at a small tree that had appeared out of nowhere behind Naruto. One of its branches was getting bigger and bigger until it captured Naruto, so he could not use his arms, and hugged him towards the tree, making it impossible for him to escape. Megan, Jubaku, demonic illusion, tree binding. Kurenai announced the name of the jutsu after her upper body emerged from the tree above Naruto. I'm stuck, Naruto exclaimed with a scowl. Hey sensei, do you know what's wrong with Hinata? Kiba asked, not really caring at all that Kurenai had used one of her strongest techniques to bind his genin friend. She is fine. You two can take her home as you have the rest of the day off, Kurenai said, and Kiba and Shino did as they were told, and carried Hinata out of the field. And Akamaru was on Kiba's head all the time sleeping. I have not forgotten about him, no way. Guys! Naruto yelled. I will let you go as soon as you agree not to run away, Kurenai whispered into Naruto's ear. I was told to report to the Jounin sensei of Team 7, so what do you want? Naruto asked. You are going to help me as punishment for misbehaving in the past. Okay, sounds easy enough, Naruto agreed quickly, but had no intentions of actually helping her. As soon as she let him go, he was out of there. Good, I actually expected you to refuse, Kurenai smiled as she released the genjutsu, allowing Naruto to move again. So what is it you need me to do? Naruto asked out of curiosity as they were now facing each other. Just come with me and help me carry some stuff I have to buy, she answered and smiled a little as she did. Naruto was going over scenarios of how this would turn out, and how it would end up with Kurenai screwing him, not literally. If I do this, Naruto said slowly with his arms crossed and his eyes closed, would you, perhaps, show me your panties? Naruto opened one eye slowly just in time to see Kurenai's leg connect with his head as she had kicked him. Arg! Why did you do that for you, witch? Naruto screamed as he held his head. He was soon unable to even hold his head as Kurenai had her legs around his neck within a leg lock. What was that? Naruto-kun. She purred into his ear. I'm sorry, Kurenai-chan. Kurenai let go of him as she jumped off, then said, now let's go, we don't have all day. Naruto followed Kurenai without saying anything, with a big scowl on his face for about 2 steps before Kurenai stopped and bent down to hold her leg. I hurt my leg when I kicked you, Kurenai said, and winced a little as she nursed her leg. You will have to carry me. Naruto's eyes twitched as he picked her up and carried her bridal style like last time. I hate you, Naruto growled, then ran towards the village with Kurenai giggling. Kurenai of course was not hurt at all and only used it as an excuse to have Naruto carry her. Kurenai gave him the directions to one of many clothing stores that they visited. Naruto spent the whole day walking behind Kurenai with his hands full of bags with Kurenai's newly bought clothes. Before the what Kurenai saw as a date and Naruto as torture was over, they visited Ichiraku's to order a bowl of ramen each. When Naruto had carried Kurenai and his clone had carried the bags back to her apartment, Kurenai had thanked him for the help and said, I hope we can do this again, sometime. Naruto had smiled a foxy smile and answered, yes, sure. When Naruto got home that night, he drank all the sake he had left, which was not that much since he did not have that much money left considering Hiruzen had yet to pay him for any of the missions. Thinking fast, Naruto grabbed his sword and walked into his bedroom. He then looked at the wall that was connected to Tayuya's apartment and cut a big hole in the wall before entering Tayuya's bedroom. Tayuya was doing something that looked hilarious to Naruto. She was jumping around hitting a dummy of what had to be that Kotaki Hakashi-sensei of hers, only wearing an orange t-shirt with the Uzumaki swirl on it and underwear. I'm out of sake, can I have some? Naruto asked, standing behind Tayuya, who had not realized yet that Naruto had cut a hole in her wall and walked into her bedroom as she was busy practicing. Kaya! Tayuya exclaimed in surprise as she jumped up the air before turning around and facing Naruto with a big blush. What the fuck are you doing here, shithead? Sake, Naruto said slowly while Tayuya noticed the big hole in her wall. What did you do to my fucking wall? She yelled and then looked around to find her pants. I had to ask if you had any sake, so I cut it, Naruto said with a grin. Are you stupid? Tayuya asked. Why didn't you just knock on my front door? She asked as she put on a pair of black pants. A good question indeed, Naruto said as he sat down on Tayuya's bed and crossed his arms. Why did you put on your pants? Before Tayuya could respond, they both heard the sound of someone knocking on the front door. Naruto went to open Tayuya's door while Tayuya attempted to stop him as she tried to drag him back to the bedroom, but Naruto would not budge and just kept going. When Naruto opened the door, he expected a person to be standing outside. Instead, he saw 2 small creatures that both carried something. Konoha Maru and Udan was going to prank their boss Tayuya in a way to get her respect. The way the intent to do that was to throw a bucket of white paint and feathers at her. Naruto just raised an eyebrow at the creatures and waited for them to move or say anything. Who are you, Kore? Konoha Maru asked, pointing at him. Maybe he heard our boss, Udan added with a frightened expression. Naruto grinned in a way that scared the shit out of Konoha Maru and Udan before he answered, Senju. Wanting to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible, Konoha Maru threw the bucket with paint at Naruto, and after Udan threw the feathers, and they both ran away screaming. Naruto just stood there outside Tayuya's door, scratching his head in confusion with the paint and feathers covering him. Tayuya, who was standing far enough behind Naruto not to get any paint on her, laughed at him. You look like a fucking chicken, shithead. Naruto looked at the paint and feathers covering his arms and most of his clothes, opening his mouth wide in surprise before getting angry. Tayuya, who were those two? Just Konoha Maru and Udan, 2 annoying little kids, Tayuya answered, still laughing at him. I see, Naruto answered, appearing pretty calm. Then he smiled and scratched the back of his head. So did you have any sake? No, I don't drink that stuff, I'm 14. Tayuya yelled. Okay, good night, neighbor, Naruto said before closing the door, going back to his apartment, all the time thinking about how he was going to cut down the 2 creatures the next time he met them. Naruto should have foreseen what would happen the next morning. Maybe giving Tayuya another and quicker route into his bed was not the best decision he had made yesterday. However, he had also realized that most likely Tayuya was not out to kill him in his sleep, as this was the second time he had woken up with her next to him. Naruto decided that he would tell the Toad brothers, Gamakichi, Gamatatsu, that they would not need to guard him at nights when he is sleeping in his apartment anymore, because if Tayuya just wanted to sleep in his bed, she was welcome to do so. Without waking up Tayuya, Naruto got out of his apartment and met up with his team. Enko had told Midori and Hanabi to keep working on their teamwork like she had told them yesterday, which annoyed both of the girls since they kind of disliked each other. Naruto, however, was told to spar with Enko, and this was a way for Enko to get payback for their first meeting, where Naruto had commented on how her breasts was not on par with Tsunade's and then poked her breasts with his finger, leading to Enko chasing him around in anger, while Naruto just laughed at her and dodged her every move. The spar this time was no different from the chase last time, as Naruto had once again just jumped around and dodged, not taking it seriously at all. The next 2 days Naruto had woken up alone in his bed and figured that Taiya must have been out on a mission with Team 7. That meant that Naruto would probably be called out to save them in the near future, since they had a habit of running into missing nins on their C ranks. Hiruzen had returned to Konoha yesterday in a sour mood. The meeting with the Raikage had gone pretty well, but what made him a bit irritated was that he learned that Naruto had lied to him about what happened after the fight with Akatsuki. The Raikage, had been told by his brother Killer B that I took care of a cool little dude. His name was Senju, and apart from being a drunk, he was a prude. I had never been told Naruto's real name, as both B and Hiruzen had only used the name Senju when speaking about him, while Yujito and Samui had only used pet names. What the Kages discussed during their meeting was the possibility of both their villages taking part in each other's Chunin exams. Hiruzen had agreed to let Kumo take a part in the upcoming Chunin exam in Konoha, but only with one team as a test run. Konoha and Kumo did not have the best of history, so Hiruzen wanted to be on the safe side. I had agreed to that on the condition that Konoha would only be able to send one team as well when it was time for Kumo to hold their own Chunin exams. Konoha and Kumo did not become allies in the same way as Konoha and Suna are allies after this meeting, but it was a start. If everything went smooth with the upcoming Chunin exams, the next 2 years they would meet for another meeting and see if they would further cooperate. Back in his office, the first thing Hiruzen did was to find the most boring C-rank mission that was available, and then have one of his subordinates call for Team 12. Enko was a bit confused as she arrived with her students soon after that they had been called there. They had barely been able to finish up their first D rank for the day when they were called. Hokage-sama? Enko, just a minute, Hiruzen said, staring at Naruto, who was staring back at him. They started glaring at each other before Hiruzen handed Enko a paper with information of a C-ranked mission. At first Enko was happy because normally a team would not be sent out for a C rank this early after its creation, but as she continued to read the details she went from happy to upset. Really? What have we done to deserve this? Enko almost yelled. This was the type of C-ranked mission that every ninja hated. It was pretty much a D-ranked, except that it was in another village far away, so with the possibility of running into either bandits or others that could be a threat on the way to the mission, it was treated as a C-rank. Hiruzen did not answer. Instead he continued to stare down Naruto, who did the same. You wanna go, monkey? Naruto threatened with a wide foxy grin. The next few seconds scared the shit out of Hanabi and Midori as they saw something both terrifying and also in their minds incredible. Hiruzen had almost flew out of his seat, launching himself towards Naruto, who had taken a hit to his head before he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Appearing behind Hiruzen, he had used his favorite sword technique, Shur Sun, and attempted to cut Hiruzen's left arm off from his shoulder, but instead he cut into a log before Hiruzen had reappeared behind Naruto and slammed his fist down on the top of his head, ending the fight. All of this happened in a few seconds, and the killing intent and speed was what scared the both girls. What the hell did I do? Naruto whined as he held his head. Apart from visiting other hidden villages and not telling me about it. How about stealing all of my sake when I was gone, or tying my grandson and his friend on a cow and have it run around the village? Enko sighed and said, so he is the reason we get this boring mission then? Naruto sat up and stared at Hiruzen and asked, do you have any proof? Are you going to deny it? Hiruzen asked, and lie to me once again? Naruto shook his head. No, I did it all, but I don't understand why you are mad about it. Naruto then explained that Hiruzen's sake deserved to be drank by him, and that it tasted like shit anyway. The grandson and his friend must have been the two creatures he was hunting. They had it coming. Naruto being in another village was none of Hiruzen's business. Hiruzen had dropped the subject after hearing that, since he figured Naruto would not listen to anything he had to say anyways. After telling them to get going, Hiruzen had stopped them for a second and held up a file. Look at this shitty brat. This is the team that Kumo will participate in the upcoming Chunin exams with, he said, holding up the file with a picture of Omoi, Samui, and Yujito. Naruto, as he saw the picture, started sweating and lost all color in his face, with his mouth open, looking terrified. He just stammered and pointed at the file, and his team had to drag him out of the office so they could finally get going. As they walked through the village heading towards the western gate, Enko explained the mission details. They were heading to the Tanzaki Quarters, a town well known for its gambling opportunities, festivals, and parties. Tanzaki Quarters was the second home of Naruto's deceased mentor Senju Itama. Their objective was to clean in a casino, and that included every poker chip. After walking for a while on the dirt road outside of the village, Midori asked Naruto a question about something she had had on her mind for a while. And Naruto Kekutaishu, is it true that you are sleeping with Taiya and Ino? She barely managed to ask, as she was very embarrassed after asking such a question, but she had to know. Hanabi immediately stopped walking and snapped her head towards Naruto, eager to hear the answer. Anko was interested as well but did not show it in the same obvious way that Hanabi did. Instead, she just smiled and waited for the answer. Yes, Naruto answered, raising his eyebrow. How do you know of this? I overheard Sakura and Ino talking the other day, Midori stuttered out, backing away a little, almost hiding behind Anko due to the way Naruto was staring at her. Anko laughed. Wow, you are one lucky guy to have 2 girlfriends. Huh? Naruto's confused expression told them that he had no idea what she was talking about. You said you were sleeping with them, and they both know of it, so I just assumed. Anko began explaining. What of it? Naruto interrupted her. If they want to sleep in my bed, they are free to do so. So long as they don't have any ulterior motives. Oh no, I misunderstood the situation, and now Taicho is going to be mad at me, Midori thought sadly. Just sleep? Anko slapped her hand to her head. How boring. I don't understand what is so special about them sleeping with him in the first place, Hanabi said and held up a finger. I have slept with him for years already. Midori screeched. Nonsense, Naruto said and began walking again. It's true, Hanabi yelled before telling her story. It started when her big sister Hinata was saved by Naruto from a couple of bullies when they were a lot younger. Hinata had gained a huge crush on Naruto after that, and some years later acquired a mini-stuffed version of Naruto. Hanabi had been jealous and had received on as well, and she always had it with her in bed. After hearing that story, Naruto walked faster than before while Midori laughed at Hanabi and Anko petted her on the head. That's so cute. Yes, it is, Hanabi said with a huge smile. Who knew I would find a real one? And ran after Naruto, hugging him from behind. Midori ran after them with a yell of get off him. Soon after that they started running. Then a few hours later they arrived at the Tanzaki quarters and the casino they were going to help with the cleaning at. Very soon after arriving, something happened with Anko, as she held her neck on her left side and screamed out in pain. Anko-sensei! The girls screamed and ran up to her. Dango! Naruto whispered and then snapped his head to a window. Outside stood a pale man with long dark hair that looked almost more snake than human. He was doing a hand sign, and that was all Naruto needed to hold the stranger responsible. Outside. Was this really necessary, Orochimaru-sama? Kabuto asked, adjusting his glasses. I'm just saying hello to my old apprentice, Orochimaru answered with a chuckle. Shunshinigiri, teleportation / Naruto screamed as he put his sword through Orochimaru's stomach. Orochimaru did not even bother to dodge it, even if he easily could. Instead he chose to use his body replacement technique, Orochimaru no Kawarimi no Jutsu, Orochimaru-style body replacement technique. While getting out of his old body like a snake shedding its skin, Orochimaru laughed Kakuku, then said, it seems my apprentice has an interesting student. Kabuto had already left the area because if he was around when someone from Konoha got there, they would have to change their whole plan in the Chunin exams since Kabuto had an important part. Naruto chose not to answer. Instead he threw a Shuriken Ninpo, Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. He created a mass of shurikens all flying towards Orochimaru, who chose to get out of the way this time, jumping up into a tree. 1 second later, one of Naruto's clone was standing behind Orochimaru, aiming his right index finger at the back of Orochimaru's head. Ninpo, Mizudepo no Jutsu, water pistol technique. Naruto shot a small condensed bullet of water that would have gone straight through Orochimaru's head if he had not once again gotten out of the way. Such power, Orochimaru said, standing below the tree staring up at Naruto. Before Naruto answered, he was covered in red-orange chakra and his whiskers darkened as he was borrowing Kurama's chakra. Moving faster than he would using a shunshin, he jumped down towards Orochimaru with his sword in hand. Sure, son. Naruto shouted as he slammed his sword down at the ground as he had missed Orochimaru again. Orochimaru chuckled as he walked out from behind a tree. We will meet again, Uzumaki Naruto, he said before sinking into the ground and leaving the area. Naruto wasted no time as he used Ninpo, Kuchios no Jutsu, summoning technique, to summon Gamakichi and Gamatatsu. I need you two to help me find a snake, Naruto told them and hinged into Orochimaru to show them exactly what he meant. The 3 of them then ran out of the Tanzaki quarters searching for Orochimaru. After a while, Naruto took out his bingo book and opened the page with Orochimaru's information. Orochimaru, one of the 3 Sanin's former teammate of Senju Tsunade and Jiraiya. Naruto read out loud with a big grin. Then he thought this mission just got interesting.